I think I'm going to prison, losing my career. Next thing I know, I'm in Iraq. Next thing I know, I'm in jail again. Then it kicked off the mountain of shit. Now I'm violated of probation. Now I violated on another violent charge. Now I'm fighting a new case. I have federal marshals trying to extradite me from California as an active duty Navy SEAL. Man, I was not right. So I was doing Adderall, Xanax, smoking weed, and drinking, and doing fentanyl all night. I remember the car turning off and I went, I'm alone. I had a sawed-off shotgun. Now I'm looking at that thing going, I'm tired. I had a good moment of clarity, thank God. I was just kind of shown how selfish I was being. If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna join the French Foreign.
You grew up in San Diego. What was that like?
It was good, man. Dude, so we started in Orange County on an old Marine base. It's fucking condos now, but it was like an old Chinook, those dual rotor.
Yeah.
My dad worked on just 6 in and out. You know, we weren't, but so that's what brought us out there. And then we moved down to San Diego, man. My grandparents were down there, my mother's mom. And so, man, we just started there, kindergarten on. And growing up there was sick, dude, because we had that, it was still the early 90s. So it wasn't super built up yet. So we could play in the canyons, right? We had actually, it wasn't like growing up in a big city, but then we had the beach also. Yeah. So then skateboard and watching Mighty Ducks and then going out and fucking playing roller hockey, dude, you know, getting all pumped up, dude. Yeah. And so it was good, man. You know, it was good sports where you're around, man. We didn't have the snow. And so I was grateful for it, right? Yeah. I was grateful for it, yeah.
What sports you play? It was football, lacrosse.
Yeah, in high school. And then, but growing up, I did, you know, baseball, soccer, football, and then the whole swimming a little bit. Even though I fucking hated swimming. It was so boring, dude.
It's kind of funny where you ended up.
Yeah, dude. Well, it worked out really well for me. It helped, but I didn't enjoy it. But I'm glad I did it. It was just club for like a little time. Mm-hmm. And then in high school, I picked football and lacrosse.
So how do you think those sports kind of impact? Because again, a lot of people miss out on playing a lot of sports. And like, you know, I was a specialized athlete in high school. Growing up, I played literally everything. I'd even double up in season. So I'd play like football and soccer. Like I love that shit.
Did you play just lacrosse in
high school?
High school?
So I played football freshman year. We were ass. And then I was like, and it was one of those things where we were so bad, but playing really, like we were playing Don Bosco and shit. Yeah. And we were like 120 boys, like total high school.
Oh, so yeah, dude. Yeah.
We were getting stomped. And again, like a decent athlete. So I'm going out there and coach is like, yeah, we're going to throw you here. And I'm like, I'm going to get my shit wrecked.
Yeah. You got no backup.
Yeah. Like my senior year, we had like 5 seniors on the team. I was on the team, but all 5 of them all got super serious injuries. Like
really?
Yeah. Clavicle broken, wrist broken, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I can't be risking that to, you know, again, if you're on a good ass team.
Yeah. It's different.
We sucked. I think after my freshman year, because we had a bunch of like pretty good D1 guys, and then they all graduated. Bro, we were like 0-6. We were like the Cleveland Browns for.
And then so you went to lacrosse in that school. Probably had a better lacrosse team.
Yeah, we had a pretty decent lacrosse team as well. The thing about lacrosse, it's a lot like soccer in Europe or something. It's all about travel. Like, I'm sure, and it's all about travel. So high school is like important, but like if you're getting recruited and all that, it's all about travel. So like we were pretty
like club leagues or something. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. It's like crazy culture. It's only getting bigger too,
especially out here.
Yeah, and it's literally like soccer now too. Like I was saying in Europe, where like people just don't give a shit about high school anymore. I mean, it's big.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's still big. It's always gonna be big.
Yeah, but it's not like
but like kids would, if you said you can go play for this club team, like the #1 club team or the #1 high school. Everyone's going #1 club team.
Really?
Yeah. It's just better recruiting opportunities. Yeah. You play way more games. Like throughout the year at the club team, I'd play 60, 70 games.
Okay.
High school, you play like 12 to
15. Yeah.
And it's like not always.
And so how does that work for the schedule though? How does that, like you leaving school early to go play and travel and live missing school and stuff?
Dude, I was ripping. So practices were down at Rutgers. So I was driving, you know, hour and a half every day getting to practice.
So practicing every day after school.
Yeah, I was always
with the club.
Yep, with the club. Weekends were always shot. Like I was never going out and stuff. But that's like good. Like
probably better, bro.
Yeah, Steve.
Probably better.
And I always said it too. It's like again, like if you want to be able to do something, you got to like really develop discipline. I think developing it early was really good because you know you go to college and even now it's like with this, I got to be on like a strict regimen. There's no joking around.
Yeah.
So many people, they got to school and stuff, just like didn't have that or like whatever it might be. So it's like, yeah, you had to give up some stuff, but it's like, man, I didn't give a shit about going and, having like 5 beers. It's high school. It's not even like you're like going hard. Like, you have like 5 beers, and, it's like a really stupid party that gets busted by like 11:30. It's like, I'm going out there. I'm like trying to be great, and ended up, like I said, making like, it was an effect that has for like 50 years, making that decision then. So it was fine. It was good. And like, but yeah, it was funny culture because, again, like clubs being so important, most people aren't really ever going to get that because it just sounds wild.
Dude, because you got some size, bro. Your fucking back is wide, dude.
I wasn't that.
Bro, if you went into bodybuilding or something, you'd be fucking huge, bro.
I've been trying to build a back for jiu-jitsu, man, because I'm trying to
your
start
back is massive, dude.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you got a big frame. A big genetic frame.
I mean, I was an attackman too.
Yeah.
So it's probably people. Whenever I tell them that, they're like, "What the fuck's wrong?" I wouldn't want to be playing you on defense. That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, but but as an attackman, bro, I always dug those big attackmen, bro.
Yeah. Just chilling.
Yeah.
What was it? So, lacrosse is interesting too because you were right when it just started.
Dude, have you ever heard the name Willie Yateman?
Yeah.
So Will and I went to the same high school.
Oh, okay, no shit.
Yeah, and so we went to the same high school, and it was like even though it's West Coast, it was like one of the only two the area that had really good lacrosse. A little bit more affluent, and kids played club. Coming in. So our high school was a little bit different, and so it just kicked off. Yeah, the CIF was like that was the first year they just started like playing it formally as a school, not a club sport, right?
Would you say there was a lot of like lax guy culture? Or was it
just in our area? Because in the more affluent areas, right? There was like because kids played club. We had kids going to fucking D1 schools from there. Not a lot. It was obviously less looks, but we had kids going to Duke and shit like that from where we were.
We were. And then it's just interesting. So, what do you feel like the effect of like lacrosse was on you, like the culture? Because
I'm glad I did lacrosse because, bro, it was the only sport where I was forced to run. To get my cardio in, right? Because I was playing football, and you run, but like my coach was Rick Bontotimus. He was, dude, in Connecticut. He was from Connecticut. Yeah, and out of high school, he was Mr. Football and Mr. Lacrosse for that year. And then he went and played at Villanova, and he's the all-time leading scorer
at Nova.
At Nova, still, shit. Yeah. So he was my coach. What? So he would fucking crush us, bro. Yeah, like crush us. And I was not prepared. I would lose a ton of weight. I was puking. I was, but it pushed me hard. Yeah, and it gave me I got a lot more accolades in high school from lacrosse. Surprisingly enough, like I was San Diego Defensive Player of the Year, and like as a junior, and was doing well. So I was getting looks from fucking coaches and shit, and it kind of bumped my confidence up a bit, So it also just gave me.
Would you say in like a good way? Or
I don't think it was ego. It was actually just like, fuck, man, I can actually like play it, I can actually like play a different sport and do decent and like how my mentality, because I was super fucking aggressive, like really like probably pushed the hits in lacrosse a little far, right? Dude, we were in a club, and I broke this kid's jaw one time and fucking at Stanford, and it was like a whole thing, and it was like I was just laying the fucking hat, dude, like hard, and I was taking that 3-meter rule fucking to stretch the limit, dude. Like if you were in anywhere near that ball, bro, you were getting fucking smashed, and so I liked it, man, because it was. But I got smashed too sometimes, right? Because you reap what you sow, bro. So I had some big boys from Texas and Canada. We played teams from Canada. I got fucked up a few times, bro. Yeah.
What's up, guys? Real quick, remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video thus far, or if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. Thank you. Yeah, the Canucks don't fuck around.
Oh, dude, they'll
look to hurt you.
That level, that was a different, because we played some teams back east too, and you guys were good too. Just it's a different level of skill set,
for sure. Right? Yeah.
Just from playing so long. And dude, we played Tim from Canada, bro, and I was like, whoa, this is a completely different level.
Yep.
Of like pace.
Yep.
Of the ball. How
they play box, and then
it was there. They were playing. I was fucking like,
dude.
Whoa.
And they also, it's legal to fight in box. You can cross check. Like, box is way more aggressive. And actually, the only fight I've ever gotten in was versus a Canadian team, all box dudes.
Yeah.
He tried. doing a hit, but like where you bend and like try to take out the knee.
Mm-hmm.
It's in hockey a lot.
Yeah.
And I like rolled, saw him about to do that, like moved out of the way and just fucking yanked him right in the face. Because it's like the biggest, literally that if you get hit like that, that tears everything in your knee.
Yeah.
And I was like, I fucking punched him right away. I was like, you're a scumbag, like motherfucker. Because like, dude, and this was a club tournament. I'm like, you're going out there
to try to smash knees at a club tournament.
Dude, that changes someone's career.
Yeah.
Up and down. Like I know so many guys that toured in high school that were like getting D1 looks and then just fell off the face of the earth because, you know, a knee is a fucking serious injury.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was the only fight I ever got and I just cranked that kid across the draw. But so jumping in for lacrosse. So you finish up there. I guess at what point, when did military start sneaking in your mind as well?
Yeah. So I knew I was going to do it from a young age, but it kind of got shelved, the sports. And that was, I was going to college too. Yeah. It was like an extension of high school. It was not that like my dad didn't go to college and shit, but my grandfather was a captain in the Navy and my mom kind of was growing up as the officer's daughter. And it was like, you're going to fucking college, you know, and 99.9% of the kids at my high school went to college. So I didn't even think of it as an option to just not go.
It's just the life path.
Yeah, it was a fucking extension of mandatory school. So I was like, okay, well, I got to do this, and so I'll just put it off. And so but I had gotten kicked out of high school for possession of marijuana. Like the drug dogs came to fucking school and smelt my truck, and I didn't even have anything in there, but it was like I had some shake on like the fucking floor, dude, dead serious. And but that ended my lacrosse fucking. I couldn't play senior year. It fucked my looks up.
Like a little bit of weed, man?
Dude. It was crazy. That it wasn't even in a bag, nothing, dude. And that totally changed the course of my life because I lost scholarship opportunities, lost all that shit. But I was so lacked that self-awareness we were talking about, lacked any ownership. I just was like, oh well, that sucks. I didn't understand the scope, right? And
looking back now how your life's gone up to this point, like, would you go back if you had like a time machine? Would you go back?
I'd be curious because, like, dude, I was looking at Ivy League schools and shit. Yeah. You know, I was an academic All-American, even partying and doing dumb shit. So I had like possibilities to do some interesting shit. But so I wondered, like, man, what if I would have gone that path? I would have had a lot less tattoos, probably. You know what I mean, dude? But you know, I'm happy with how it worked out for sure. But it just, you know, it is what it is. But I, you know, for sure, you wonder sometimes. It's a fun mind game to kind of play. And yeah, man. And so then I went to a D3 school where I could two-sport.
You went to Chapman, right?
Yeah. So I just kind of did like, that was the plan. And I got a huge car accident though. And the summer before that. And I was like,
how'd that happen?
Dude, we were coming back from the river and a dude rolled a lifted Tundra we were in on the fucking freeway, dude. And I ejected out of the, like, out the fucking.
No shit.
Yeah, rolled like going 90 on the freeway, bro. I ejected, huge scar down my arm, ejected out of the fucking, I didn't have my seatbelt on, out the truck, bro. 100 meters from the truck, dude, on the fucking road, bro.
Did that help?
I landed like this, blam, my scab, like back still a little fucked up from that.
Yeah.
And but dude, I walked out of the hospital like 3 days later.
I was gonna say, did the
dislocated my
seatbelt help?
Maybe, bro. Yeah. They were like, dude, it might have helped because everybody, two guys in the car, they're alive, but dude, they were all skin grafts and fucking all fucked up, dude. And I walked out. I was the first one to walk out.
Yeah.
So it was that was a wild time, but it wasn't setting me up good for. I couldn't play sports, and so that was the first time I had never not played a sport.
Yeah.
Since I was a fucking 5.
Yeah.
Right. That was the first time. So I didn't know what to do with my fucking self. So I partied and drank and fucking started down that fucking road. Was supposed to be on the sidelines for football because I was technically redshirting and I wouldn't even go to the fucking games, bro. I just was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I just totally wasn't tracking on anything, bro.
So was it like a different type of partying once you kind of, because I know some guys too that when they got the release from sports, good or bad, they put it up a level. I mean, was it like, were you in high school? Were you going hard, or was it?
Yeah, I was going pretty hard in high school, man. We grew up in a fucking. To give you a. I mean, all my friends from high school, everybody's dead or in prison. Everybody,
really,
straight up. I don't have any friends that aren't dead or in prison who I was like close with. And we were going hard, bro. I mean, we were down in Tijuana, fucking, and then coming back. Like we were going heavy, bro.
Yeah.
And it was just the culture in our area. It was kind of what went down. And big keg parties, huge, huh?
Were a lot of those guys for prison? Is it like drug offenses?
Yeah, man. And a lot of overdoses. A lot of my friends are dead, from overdoses and stuff. And I took it as normal. Like I didn't really understand what was normal, right? In my crew, I thought that was just kind of how you got down. And so I continued that into fucking college, you know, pretty much. I wasn't doing crazy shit, but I was going hard in the paint.
Yeah. What about with the guys on the team? Like when you go to a new atmosphere like that too, Chapman, I'm not like super familiar with. I know you guys got some, I remember you guys were really coming out. He had some sick ass uniforms.
Yeah, they do have some sick uniforms.
And they
all the Panthers, dude.
Yeah, and they put out like some cool ass hype video.
Yeah.
Was it? I mean, was there a difference in culture there? Was it a bit of a shell shock or like?
Dude, it was weird because it was like more mellow than my high school.
Yeah.
It was like I was like, fuck, dude. Like, cause I mean, my high school had 4,000 kids in it. Yeah. And this had less. And I'm like, whoa, dude. And there was also a financial piece, right? It was the first time I was at my mom's and I'd always worked and like I was like selling weed and always kind of had money. But then I like started to realize, but you're in high school, so you're kind of insulated. And at Chapman, there's a ton of rich people, really rich. And I started to see the importance of money, right? And that financial disparity. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta start like making some money. I gotta get this cash up. Cause I had a single mom. She wasn't giving me money. So I was like, fuck, dude, I gotta like, really, that's when I started to see the disparity, right? And it fucking matters, right? And not that it's the most important thing, but man, it gives you a lot of freedom. And I was feeling strapped, bro. I was like, I had to get a job and I'm like, fuck, bro, and I wasn't making it easy on myself because I had been given a job by the football team, got kicked off the football team for just doing dumb shit. And so I was feeling that pressure, right? For that life pressure started to kind of kick in. And,
I was going to say, did that play into it a little bit as well, where you're just kind of like, first time you're free willing, but also you're surrounded by,
trying to start to learn how to live like a fucking adult, sort of. Like, right. And I was failing miserably, bro. Yeah.
For school. So you're talking, is this when some of the arrests started and everything as well? Or is that
no, I didn't really get arrested then. Probably should have, could have, but I just didn't. And I rolled out of there, right? Because it was a failed fucking school, and the dean's like, dude, you're not.
When did you know that you were like kind of looking on the way out? Like,
dude, it was actually a financial piece too, because I looked at it, I'm like, bro, because they don't have athletic scholarships there because it's D3, but they have scholarships for athletes, but it still wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the debt I was incurring from just even the first. And I was like, fuck, because my mom wasn't paying it. She was co-signing, but she wasn't paying it. And I'm like, fuck, bro. It was like 60 G's a year, even, And I'm like, whoa, dude, this is going to add up quick. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to junior college, play football, right? And get at a really good JC. That I'm going to do that, right? And maybe get a D1 look, right? But which wasn't going to happen. But that's what I was thinking, right?
So do you think there was a bit of like self-sabotage to you in the grades? Because you're saying like, you're smart in high school. I mean, you're smart now. Like you're a smart guy. Do you think that you kind of like saw that racking up and everything? You're kind of like, you know what? I'm going to have some fun right now. Like it's ain't for me.
Man, I wish I would have been thinking strategically like that. I was just drinking and partying, coming into class late. And I was rushing a fraternity at the time. And it was just like, I was thinking, but I would still do my grade. I would still do my homework at like 5, 6 in the morning and like, turn my paper.
Right class,
like I wasn't like blowing it off, but I was missing class a lot. I was, shit like that. And you just can't do that and fucking maintain. Yeah. So I squeaked out of there with like some shitty ass grades. It wasn't like all F's or anything like that, but I was, I wasn't succeeding.
So you jumped to community college. What was that experience like going there?
That was a stark reality kind of coming back to the fucking mom's house.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, fuck. And it wasn't high school anymore, right? Everyone had left. And there's that reality of like, man, dude, I'm that guy here in fucking, and I'm working construction in the morning, trying to go to school at night, trying to do this and then not doing either.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, what am I really doing here? And that was a dark time, right? That I get in a fucking another huge car accident. Right when I got back, bro, I spun out a truck that I had bought, like a fucking, dude, it went into the trees, fled the fucking police all night, dude. Like went into a pool, was getting chased by dogs and helicopters all night. And, bro, I was just, then, so that started, that was like 3 weeks after I got back from fucking college, that happened. And I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I was just in that mode, bro. Just bad shit happened. Those universal signs, flashing red lights, like what you're doing's not working. But I could not make any sense of it. I couldn't think that, I was just too stupid. I didn't have the tools to be like, oh, it's because I'm making these decisions that this is happening. I just fucking couldn't connect those dots.
Why do you think that is?
Man, it was lack of maturity. It was really like that lack of consciousness.
Yeah.
I hate to say, like, I wish somebody would have told me, because I don't know if I would have fucking listened, right? Or even if I had the ability to, but because I think you kind of have to be open to the information. Mm-hmm. You have to be at that. And I hadn't hit that rock bottom yet. Even through all that shit, I still hadn't hit that rock bottom yet, right?
So what continues going on? So the next couple of years?
Yeah, so it was, so just the 30,000 foot overview is, man, I did that, and then I started rolling in, and then not going to junior college again, and not doing that, and then dealing drugs, and fucking, I was dealing ecstasy and all this shit at the time. And fuck, dude, went to a new JC because I failed out of the other one. Yeah. So now I'm on like 4 or 5 and I woke up one morning, bro, and this was like down that year, and it was October 11, 2004, bro. Yeah. And I was like, bro, I'm so miserable. I was like, I had a nice apartment, a nice truck and shit, but I was like, not happy, bro. I was like, it felt hollow. That's the only way I can describe it. It felt like empty.
You just hadn't found like a purpose.
My whole life felt it. The apartment felt empty. Yeah. The closet felt empty. Like everything just felt fucking hollow, dude. And I just called my dad, who's been kind of in and out of my life, but he's been through his shit. So I knew I could at least be honest with him. I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I didn't know why. Gave him all the drugs I had, all the money I had, went into a lockdown, like psych ward facility for fucking 5 days, dead serious. I didn't need a detox. It wasn't like I was on drugs like that. I just was like, I need a time out, man. I need a time out. And so I timed out, did that, got a plan, went back to Boston, then locked it on, bro. Trained Muay Thai, was in Dorchester training Muay Thai at the Boston Muay Thai Academy, was going to JC, doing this stuff. And I was like, maybe I want to be a doctor. So I like went down this like pre-med fucking path. Dude, I got straight A's for like a year and a half, bro. I was like, maybe I'll be a plastic surgeon and do fake tits and stuff. And so then, dude, I got perfect grades all the way through on like a pretty accelerated medical angle. Yeah. In junior college, mind you. So it wasn't like, it was physics and things like that. Same shit. Right? It's physics and all the GE stuff. Yeah. And fuck it, dude. And then next thing I know, I'm getting accepted to University of California. So I actually went to UMass Amherst to talk to the lacrosse coach there. Shit. And he knew my head coach. He knew my head coach. And dude, they got me in. Yeah. They wanted me to come play there, but then I realized, bro, I was still paying out of state tuition, half, even with the half scholarship. Because I hadn't played lacrosse in 2 years. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I'll go back to California, in state, and when that's where I went, University of California, Santa Cruz.
So I want to bring it back real quick to that October 11th date, because I think first off, the fact that you have that date just boiled down is pretty amazing. I heard you on another podcast kind of mention a quote that stood out because you were saying it was raining that day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. As this homeless guy, man, he's like, you know what rain means? Change. And every time it rains, I think about that. I never forgot. That gives me the chills, dude. I think about that. It's like things washing away, things growing, things changing, man. Things change in the rain, right? Because then it dries back out and things are different, right? And I just always think about that shit, dude. And it's like stuff washing away, right? Rain means change, bro. So it's like that good. It was raining outside, and that was glaring in my mind. And it still is to this day, bro. Anytime it rains, I really think about change, like what is in my life. I use it as a time of introspection. Yeah. Yeah.
Did that quote hit you in the moment, or was it kind of on that date?
It was it was when I woke up, bro. Yeah, it was, I opened my eyes and it was raining. I could hear the rain hitting and it doesn't rain a lot in San Diego. Yeah. Right. So it was like, and it was like booming in my voice. It's like, you know what rain means? Change. And I'm like, fuck. I remember I woke up and I had a math test that day, like a fucking pre-calculus test or something. And I hadn't done one thing of homework all 2 months, right? And I looked at it and I went, I am going to fucking fail the shit out of this thing. And I'm failing again, right? I'm fucking failing my third college. I got to change something. I was trying to like, get up and study, like look at like my note. And it was like, I had a test in like 30 minutes, you know? And it was a moment where I go, bro, my fucking life is unmanageable as shit right now.
Yeah.
Right.
That's incredible. Yeah, no, that quote when you said that, man, I started tying that in, like listening to all your story and everything. And it's just like, when you hear small stuff like that, it's crazy how when it seems like such a small quote.
Yeah.
But then when you actually get introspective about it and start looking around at like what's happening and everything.
Oh yeah.
Like what you're saying, it's like no one's going to think about that quote until they wake up in the bed and they're like, what the fuck's going on? They look outside and they're raining and it's like, yo, he was right.
Yeah. Bro, that's powerful. Dude, you give me the chills, man, because it's those moments of why things hit you, man. When that homeless guy said that to me, I didn't think about it. You know, I was like, fuck, whatever, dude. Right. And for whatever reason, months later, whenever, you know, however long it had been months, you know, and then that was the thing that was booming in my voice, man. And it was just that moment. And I think it's important that people take notice of that. And that's why people shouldn't deflect and shouldn't avoid things, right? Like just wake up and immediately be in their phone. Sometimes you need to hear those messages.
Yeah.
You can't hear them if you're fucking the TV's on and the fucking phone's in your face, right? Sometimes you need to just sit. And that's like part of the thing of what I teach guys. When you wake up in the morning, sit. Fucking no inputs for like 15 minutes. Drink your coffee in absolute silence, right? Don't move. Just sit. Like people fucking, it's shocking how little people do that. I do it every fucking morning, dude. Not meditate, red dot, cold plunge, fucking. I don't need all that shit.
The Huberman special?
Yeah, I'm not saying doesn't have its purpose.
Yeah.
But just sit, right? Let your mind, I'm going to think about nothing. Man, just let your mind go where it wants, right? Don't stress, don't overthink, don't underthink. Just fucking sit, man, right? And I find that to be really helpful.
So you wake up that moment, you see the rain. Like, how hard was the debate of saying it's time to get the fuck out?
Man, it felt I needed it, man. Yeah. I couldn't go another moment. Mm-hmm. It was like at that point. And it wasn't like I felt things crashing in. And surprisingly enough, after I left, a bunch of shit that had happened. A bunch of dudes went to prison for some shit. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I was like, whoa,
like
dude.
Dealing out and stuff?
Yeah. it was like some stolen property. I didn't have fucking anything to do with it, but it was like, it could have been, like things could have got messy.
You're in the area.
Right? Yeah. Shit, guilty by association type shit. And I'm like, fuck, dude. And so I was actually grateful for that, and just to kind of be out of the fucking shit and then hearing like all this stuff going down.
So what happened in the military at this point? Was that always kind of still in the back of the head?
And but I was like, man, I got to finish college. I was still in that mode. Like I knew I needed to go to college, right? I don't know if, I didn't even register yet to go in the military. I did have a moment when I had gotten into Boston. It's like freezing cold. I'm in the basement of like my aunt and uncle's house. There was like no heater down there yet. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. And I was having this moment of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this GC and actually do this because I have no proof that I could actually finish something. Yeah. So I had this moment. I was like, maybe I'll go in the Coast Guard or something. I don't know why, because I knew a guy in the Coast Guard there. It was just, I had that like one moment where I said, I might go in the military and not finish this. But I was like, all right, let me give it one final push to like make sure. And then it ended up fucking working out.
What do you think was the main stop from you going, just fucking, I'm getting in right now?
I just needed to finish college. I had no idea, but I was like, I felt like would have been embarrassed if I didn't finish college. Yeah. It was like that, man.
Okay. Yeah. So then you move out, you go to UCal Santa Cruz.
Yeah. University of California, Santa Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah. The Slugs, right?
Yeah. The Slugs, dude. Yeah.
How was that?
Man, it was a fucking beautiful campus, bro.
Yeah. It's an awesome spot.
Bro, the campus was legit. That's what was cool. And it was a pretty kind of hippie, right? Mm-hmm. So me, I'm going to the military. People were like, the fuck? Dick growing out of my forehead, dude. It was like really left.
Yeah.
And
do you think that was good for you?
No. Yeah. No, dude, no. I didn't get in big political discussions. I wasn't like that. All right. And I wasn't
that. It's just like, let's be honest, the people in that tend to be a little bit more like, down a little bit.
Man, but I fucking was turning it up to 1,000, bro. I was almost getting kicked off campus, man. I had a fucking parties at my fucking house, at my apartment. They're like, you got to leave. And I just lost all that discipline that I had built up in isolation, right? In that Rocky mode. I was like in this Rocky mode for like a year and a half. Came back like blasted and like all.
Did you ever think about fighting MMA?
Dude, I was like doing Muay Thai and stuff, but I never got into like the MMA piece. I did start doing jiu-jitsu when I got to, because there's a Claudio Franco Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym there, and jiu-jitsu is big in Santa Cruz. It's got a big culture there. But I fucking got a subluxation of the patella like my first month in like a white belt tournament. Dude had me in
like
closed guard.
Or some shit?
A dude had me in closed guard, and I stood up. And I had my fucking feet, and I had him by his gi. And I was just trying to break his guard, with my elbow.
Yeah,
and he was just like a wrestler, super strong, but we're white belts. And he was just yanking on my fucking ankle. And just the, me going this way, and he just went. Oh. And I was like, oh, man. And my knee was fucked up, dude, for like 2 months, bro. I couldn't even stretch it out. They had to do a lateral release and fix it. But I walked out, like after they fixed it, it was fine. Right. But it's still never been 100%. Yeah. It's changed the structure of my quad. And I was scared to get back on the jiu-jitsu mat after that. Cause I was like, bro, I am not going through that again. Yeah. Right. So I was like, bro, that took me down to Percocets and the opioids and fucking, so like it was hard. So I was crutching around that campus, bro. You can't walk that campus. I was dying, like trying to crutch. I had to get a fucking handicap van to drop me off at class, bro. It was like trying to plan that. It was a pain in the fucking ass, dude. And my diet crashed because I couldn't go to it was a brutal thing. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing. But to break the fear, I did go back get on the mat a couple times just to kind of like not let that be the last time. Yeah. And I did that like a year later.
I do some fun clips. I was going to say one time, if we get you down to Dallas, we'll get one for, we'll do a roll. I promise I won't heel hook you. But we'll keep it easy. Yeah. I avoid gi just for that reason. Yeah. No gi, it's like more wrestling and everything. Yeah. But you don't get in those weird, when you're in gi, man, like I'll have times where there's a grip here, and you're like, how are we in this position? And like, you feel like something's going to explode if you're like you don't give up position or something. And if you're a comp, you don't want to give up position. It's just like, bang. So no, I definitely get that. So you said, so they hopped you on like perks and shit?
Yeah, dude, I was eating those like Tic Tacs, and I needed them.
Yeah,
dude, it was not, dude.
That I've heard that's like the most.
It was not something where I was like, if I didn't eat them, I was like hurting, bro. Yeah. My doctor looked at it. He was like, whoa, and we had an issue with the insurance, with my mom's insurance, that they wouldn't do the surgery, so it fucking extended for like 2 months, dude. I'm like, can't. Yeah. It was a really shitty situation, but it ended up getting fixed, and then I slowly started that rehab piece, and I got a DUI that fucking summer, which was a fucking annoying thing, and it caused me a lot of problems in the military, and I had to go to jail for later. But it made me ride my bike for a year up those hills, right? Yeah. And so even though that's a weird thing to say, I was working at a restaurant, like waiting tables and stuff, and like bouncing a little bit, and I lived near the beach, but it was like kind of far uphill. So I was having to ride my bike and to the campus, which was up a huge hill. So every day, all over the place, and rain or shine, bro, because I didn't have a choice. I had to sell my car, right? But it forced my quad and my knee to like train that for a year. Probably was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. That's funny how that stuff happens.
Yeah, man.
So you were saying, so at this point, this is like when some of the arrests started, like in those like small misdemeanors.
Yeah, man, it was just drunk in public, little fight here, little. I had that misdemeanor DUI, just driving too fast, got pulled over, right, and driving on a suspended, right after, and then another drunk in public, just not fucking being crazy, but like being drunk, walking home. And the cops are
not
just
robbing.
The
people,
cops, the cops are on it there. Yeah, right. If they see somebody kind of stumbling and walking home, they're like, "Hey, get in the fucking car."
Yeah,
right, and. Next thing I know, I'm like in a vest, often on the beach picking up trash, right? It's like my second job. People are like, this fucking guy, dude. But all that added up, by the time I got out, I was like, all right, let's get in the military. They're like, get fucked.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so were you thinking that at the time where you're like, could this be fucking with this thing?
Dude,
just like what?
When I got the DUI, I had a moment where I was like, immediately on Google, I was going, bro, can I get in military with DUI? And of course, anything you Google, it's like, you're never getting in, you know, you're done, you're toast. And I went, oh no, right? And it was, you know, they're like, you're never going to get a clearance. And I was like, oh, fuck, that was the moment. And all the other stuff, you know, definitely didn't feel good about it. I wasn't brushing it off. And that was the thing. I look back, like, what the fuck was I thinking, man? Like, I wasn't like, hey, whatever, haha. I wasn't laughing it off. I was feeling shitty about it and going, fuck, dude, I'm not going to do that again. But I just wasn't changing my habits. I was like, okay, I'm never doing that again. Happening again next week. Right. And it was just because I wasn't changing the habits.
Do you think there was a level of like self-sabotage or just kind of
100%. And man, I have dove into that psychology of why, because I need to teach people that and like how I ended up kind of getting out of it. And it's rooted in lack of self-worth somewhere, right? And you build self-worth with good daily habits. Mm-hmm. That's as simple as you can boil it down, right? And I wasn't waking up early, right? I was waking up late. I was missing work, hungover, right? Not training consistently. You know, I was always like still kind of going to the gym. I never not went. Yeah. I always made sure I ate, right? But it was like shittier food, not as much.
Not
prioritizing, right? Yeah. And for me and for guys like you, like, dude, we require a lot of discipline inputs to maintain mental clarity.
Yeah.
Some people operate on a lower frequency. They can be completely content eating chips on the couch. They're not going to live a very fulfilled life, and they are feeling levels of anxiety. But if we were doing it, it would be impossible.
It would kill me. Yeah.
It would be like bouncing off the walls type anxiety, right? And so it's just different inputs, and I needed stronger inputs that I wasn't doing.
Was there any debate just going to get a, you know, public sector job, or like, was it always locked in on the military?
Dude, I was pretty damn sure, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I wasn't doing internships. I had tried to do the doctor thing, and then I got to multivariable calculus and organic chemistry organic chemistry, and I realized aptitude's a real thing. You know, like I went, I'm not smart enough to be in here. And it was just not happening, right? People are like, you can do anything you want. Not true.
Yeah.
Not true. There's levels to this shit, right? I was like competing for C's, and you just can't get into medical school with that. So I was like, okay, well, I'll shift to a pre-law degree, which is what I did. It was politics and like with an emphasis in sub-Saharan African politics, technically, right? And which was actually kind of cool. I'm like, African politics is fucking really interesting to me, right? And so I had some cool courses and stuff, and it was actually a hard course load. We wrote a lot of papers and we did a lot of stuff, and my professors, even if they were left, they would let me write. Like I wrote one of my senior theses on the evolution of the M16 assault rifle, bro, and how it's a symbol of freedom, right? And they're like reading, they're like, goddamn, they're like B-, you know, like, you know, like I'm definitely not getting an A with that, but so it was. I'm actually grateful for it that whole time there, and getting out was sure I was going to the military. I hadn't prepped internships or jobs, like I hadn't.
There's no plan B.
I hadn't even really thought about that as an option, right? I hadn't prepped for law school or any of that shit.
So you started out, you walk into the Marine recruiter, right?
Yeah.
That's the first spot that you went because you're like, fuck it, like this is where I want to be.
Yeah, I was like, this is probably the best bet, right? And so I went and took the officer selection test battery and all that shit because I was like, well, I got a degree, but I was just so oblivious to what all the fucking crimes what's gonna cause me, bro. You know, in my tattoo, and like I just did not make that connection that it was going to be an issue.
So yeah, that was one of the things that I heard you say. So you talked about the tattoos. They denied. What's the deal with that? Like why?
Dude, the tattoo policies, which is ironic because the Marines are who brought tattooing to the United States. They were getting it down the Philippines and stuff. Man, they took a picture of my back and it was it wasn't, dude, I was not covered like I am now.
Yeah.
But they were like too much of a percentage was tattooed. And they said, fuck off, man. And I couldn't even enlist.
Is there a reason like for
that? Was just it, bro. I had nothing on my forearms, no neck, nothing.
Yeah.
It was just back and whatever, bro. But they said no. And who knows the cosmic universe, why it ended up working out for me. But they said no. And the Army said no for background. And then I went to the Navy and they said yes. And that was I said, fuck, this is where I wanted to be. Now this is my only option.
Yeah.
So this is becoming very clear now.
So before going at the first two recruiters, what was the mindset where you're starting to get no's and you're like, reality starting
depression.
Yeah.
Fear. I was like, oh fuck. Started looking in the Foreign Legion a little bit.
Yeah.
I had known about it since I was a kid. I don't know where, but I had knew about it, right? Because I was always on the internet, like inquisitive mind. I'm sure you've been like that too. Just
oh fuck
yeah, just like
I'm doing this.
just inquisitive mind, man. It's like, and I always suggest, man, people, if you're be curious about everything, right? If you're like, hey man, thinking about wolves, Google about wolves, man, right?
Yeah.
So so that's what I was doing about the military, and I found out about the French Foreign Legion. Fast forward, now I'm like, whoa, I might not have any options. So I started looking into it, but I knew I wanted to push the American military as hard as I could, but I was fucking worried.
Yeah.
I was real concerned, man. 23, living out my mom's house, riding a bike to the fucking recruiter.
And so you go to the Navy, and then they basically give you the option of like, you can either be a SEAL.
Yeah, scrape barnacles or be a SEAL.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything with medical, with drug charges. Now, I didn't have any drug convictions, mind you. Just like weed and hash and fucking, but they were all dropped.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like I had all these charges but it still was fucking up my mojo for being able to get a whole slew of jobs. So at this time, they're trying to get some SEALs in, right? They were trying to get guys to fucking plus up. They were just not getting guys passing. So they're trying to get higher quality guys in or with athletic backgrounds, but they were like a little bit more lenient on the backgrounds.
So they couldn't get guys to pass. Like it just wasn't.
They couldn't. They still haven't been able to get the percentage of guys. Like it just is what it is, like that 10% number or whatever it is, And so they were trying to figure that out, and they opened it up. And so thank God, but I got my waivers. It took me a long time though to get, It took me about 8 or 9 months.
So what'd that process go like?
I said, well, who's doing the training? Like MEPS was terrifying too, because it was, how do I answer this question or this? It was strategic.
Wait, can you explain what that is just for people?
The military entrance processing station. Mm-hmm. They do the background checks, the federal checks, you're all medical and all. So I had a lot of stuff that I was being strategic on, honestly strategic.
Yep.
Right. And, and I had contracted background investigations where they would come to my work, because I was actually doing like security at my mom's high school and stuff, like just you gotta make money, and doing Home Depot stacking boxes. So they came to my work and did like a fucking 4-hour interview on my background, and it was stressful, but I got in. And then I said, well, where do I train for this stuff? I found out there's Naval Special Warfare motivators who are retired SEALs and stuff, and active duty SEALs. There's like a program. So I sought them out, man. I was like, what do I do? And they were like, show up at Camp Pendleton and we're running 5 miles. I was like, I'd never run 5 miles in my life. I was like, what? We're running 5 miles? Like that? Now that looks ridiculous. That's like a fucking jog, right? But I was like, whoa. And I was puking every day, bro. I lost 40 pounds in 6 weeks.
40 fucking pounds.
6 weeks, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Coming out of jail, I was like 230, dude. I was like 190 when I fucking.
Can we bring it back to, so you're saying from jail. So can you go through the story of like how that ended up?
Yeah.
Like, for the processing and how you like.
Yeah, I went to talk to a judge, and I said,
this was because to clear for like. Being
because you can't go into the military on any type of probation, formal or informal, right? And I had an informal probation. I didn't have a report to anybody, but it was just some informal probation for the DUI for 3 more years, and so I wasn't going to wait 3 years. So I went to the judge, got a lawyer, and they said, we're going to give you 6 months in jail to commute this sentence. So I said, yes. So they gave me 4, and I did fucking 4 in Santa Cruz County. Lockdown facility, no yard, no sun, nothing. So that fucking sucked. But I was just doing push-ups and pull-ups. There was like a little patio area, but it was all chain linked in with fucking, and there was some weird shit in there, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what stories you got from that?
Man, there's some weird stuff. Was really gnarly, because I volunteered to do jail laundry.
Yeah.
And just to break away every day for 8 hours, right? And I had time to read and write, and like I had a little space. It was just a little room by myself, pretty much. And this old 40-year-old guy, he's like a little hobbit. He lived in a fucking shed in back of his mom's trailer, dude. Like straight up like Shire, dude. Like
that's the only shit you see out on the West Coast.
This guy's fucking hustle. I was doing jail laundry with. He would break into laundromats and steal the quarters out of the fucking. That was his jam. And so,
wait, you got arrested for that?
He had a felony, breaking and entering, and he was like stealing quarters. Yeah, dude, that was his hustle, dude. I was like, what am I doing with my fucking life, dude? I'm in there with this guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, that was his. Dude, this, just all these meth addicts, bro. Like, and what was wild because the disciplinary 23-hour lockdown pod was right here across the hallway. So I could see the glass of like the fucking gnarly motherfuckers. And then like wiling out, dudes going to the prison for years, like waiting on trials, like, cause it's jail, man. It's all mixed bag. And then I would also have to clean the observation ward sometimes. Mm-hmm. That was a different level of fucking evil, man. Like possessed. It's the only way I could fucking describe it, man. It's like you see people possessed, like either on really gnarly drugs or just absolute mental fucking issues, right?
Yeah.
Like a woman came in there who had drowned all of her kids.
Jesus Christ.
Like that type of cloud, right? And it was like, give me the creeps, right? It's in the news and they're like, hey, this girl, late, and they would walk right past the thing. You could feel the fucking
evil, bad vibration.
Bro, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then they're just like in their like observation cell, like just, it was like wild, right? Because that's when I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here?
I was gonna say, was it a bit of a wake up
call? Dudes pushing poop under the door and shit. And I'm just like poop paint in their fucking rooms. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? But I was actually happy.
Yeah.
Because I was finally clearing up my shit. And I was like, I'm going to the military. Like I was still oblivious. I have that delusional confidence that's like, comes with ignorance, right? That Dunning-Kruger effect, right? That someone's lack of experience or knowledge in a certain area causes them to, be overconfident, and I was definitely that. I'm like, man, I'm good, right? Yeah. I'm gonna walk out of jail and I'm gonna be a Navy SEAL, right?
You were telling the CEOs that, right?
I wasn't like running my suck, but he asked me on the way out and he fucking laughed at me. And I that was the first time I was like, oh, maybe this is kind of like a fucking far-fetched idea. Like if I zoomed out, I'm walking out of fucking jail. He doesn't know who the fuck I am or what I do, or like he doesn't have any. And that's what I also said. I never tell people shit. Nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
Because I don't know your level of resolve. I don't know who the fuck you are or what you're all about. Like when people are like, hey, I'm going to do this. I go, fucking do it. That's what I always tell them. I don't go, fuck being realistic. Because I really don't know what's realistic for you.
Yeah.
What your ability is and like what you're willing to do. So that's really what it taught me is fuck, man. Looking back, I'm like, bro, that seemed crazy. And it was, but it fucking worked.
So knowing that you had the light at the end of the tunnel there where you something to work towards, do you think that also changed how it was when you were in there too? It's like if you
Oh, 100%, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like made being in there because all these guys have no hope. They're just like on their next fucking, they're all meth addicts and they're on there for a year and they're all got multiple felonies. I was like, and they're on a misdemeanor going like about to go try for my dream.
Yeah.
So I was in like kind of a fucking good mood.
Yeah.
Right. I was ignorant, I was kind of oblivious to kind of what some of the realities of the guys around me, some of them,
Did you tell anybody that like when you were in there that was where you were going? Like, did you get anywhere?
I told one guy.
Okay.
One big black dude who had been in the army.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, he's like, man, that's what he wasn't. He was like, about it? He was like, yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like older. He's, older fucking criminal guy that just got wrapped up and I would play poker with him and shit. And that's the only guy I told. I don't even know why I told him, but we were just in conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, the military is different than, like, if you were going out and be like, I'm going to be a cop. It's obviously, you get some bad looks, but I was going to say, I wonder if the military, if like people would have just been like, well, that's,
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, do something with your life. Yeah, it's cool.
So you finally get out of there, man. What's that feeling? You tell the correctional officer, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, I walked out. It's the December 26th at midnight, 2008, right? And
I love that you know all the dates.
Yeah, man. I have hyperthymesia.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
No.
Man, it's a really, and some people have it so much. I remember almost every date of everything that happens to me.
No shit.
It's a fucking thing. It's a thing where you have a really specific autobiographical memory. Some people have it so bad that they won't even leave the house, right? It crushes their fucking.
Because if something's happened, it's just
like it's all in there. You can look it up, hyperthymesia. I have like a dusting of it.
Yeah.
So if you ask me like when I saw some movie, I'll know like what day it was. Like I don't know the day though.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what day of the week it was generally because I don't do it with math. I just for whatever reason, I correlate dates.
Something pops out in your mind.
Yeah, like if you asked me when a picture was taken and you showed me a phone, I'd know, right? When it was, what day it was, or what the date was.
Damn, that's incredible. Yeah,
it's a hyperthymesia. I looked into it because I didn't know it was a thing, and then someone mentioned it was actually Joe Rogan mentioned it one time about hyperthymesia. Okay. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh, I probably got a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that sprinkled in.
Yeah, just I thought about why. It's because I understand the importance of shit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Shit, like, the butterfly effect of shit, and the importance of those pivot points, and those fucking poignant moments, man. Because this life's poignant, man. Mm-hmm. This life's powerful. Mm-hmm. It is what you make it. It's so an old adage, man. Man, if you think your life's important and certain days are important, they are.
Yeah.
And if you don't, they're not.
I was gonna say, man, one of my favorite like rappers of all time, which is like funny relation, but I don't know if you've heard of him, but XXXTentacion.
No.
You should check him out. He's very introspective and spiritual, but one of the most interesting things, and like I've learned to do this a lot with a lot of stuff that happens in my life, is when it would be something like that, those moments, he'd be like, it was this date, it was this moment.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's so interesting for most people is they can't, if you ask them that, you think like for the biggest moments in your life, you'd be able to know the exact date, the exact time, everything. Majority of people can't.
Yeah.
You know, like I know the day that I started jiu-jitsu. I know the day that, I got my blue belt. I know the day like for all this stuff for lacrosse. I know all these different dates just from life because I think it's important.
You got a touch of it, bro.
Yeah.
I might actually. No, you might. No, I'm saying you probably got a touch of it because a lot of people cannot do that.
Yeah. But I think, man, that's so interesting. I wonder if I've never heard of that, but it's
like, look it up, dude. Yeah. And honestly, once you start understanding it, you'll start seeing it more and you'll start doing it more. You'll start making those associations like with a lot of shit. It helps.
You're gonna trap me in the house, bro.
Yeah, dude. You're the next guy down, dude. I'm like, where's he at, bro? Dude, the blind's drawn.
Yeah, literally. All right, I'm gonna have to look into it. It's incredible. But all right, so you're getting out, and it's funny. Like you'd be the first, like one of the few people where it'd be like, I'm getting out of prison and I'm about to achieve my dream. Like that's incredible. Yeah. So I mean, this is for everybody, but how excited were you to get out of prison?
Man, I felt good walking out. I felt good walking out of jail, and my chick picked me up at the time. And man, I just went back and I'm drinking a Budweiser on her fucking porch, like in a wife beater, just like, yeah, I'm about to go get me a job and go and get me a, it was just funny looking back because I had this mountain to climb up. I'm looking back, I'm glad I was ignorant to what I was about to have to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because I would have been I probably would have never started.
Yeah. Do you think the nerves would have killed you there?
I would have. If that's our grace, man, is that we can't see the future.
Yeah.
We'd be fucking curled up in the fetal position if we saw what was coming.
Yeah.
Truthfully. And so that was a saving grace for me in that I just took it piece by piece, right? I took it piece by piece and I had a lot of weight to lose. I was like all fucking like rugged.
Yeah, you came out thick,
fat. Yeah, I was like, I wish I had a picture. I tried to find them, dude. And probably embarrassed the show because I thought I was like all big, but I was like kind of fat, bro. Like
just stick boy.
Just like still had traps and stuff and like kind of, you know what I mean? I was but I was fat, man, and couldn't run. And once I started running, I was like, whoa, dude, I got a big mountain to climb up with this physical ability to be able to do this, man.
Do you think the swimming too? I mean, like, man, the swimming would have fucking wrenched me too, being like that big. Because I know swimming's hard as hell.
Dude, luckily I'm real good in the pool, man. Yeah. Like I can swim. I still had to understand some of the combat side stroke technique, but that's always been, man, no gravity, bro. So you can be big, dude.
True.
You got that. You're not fighting against gravity, and so less is more with the swimming, right? You get, long, don't try.
Yeah.
And you'll glide, right? You'd actually be a great swimmer with your body build.
Dude, you might have to teach me.
Dude, you'd be beast, dude. You're built exactly like a good swimmer.
I need to get into that more too because the cardio.
Bro, it's fun, dude.
It's better on your body too.
Dude, it's fun, dude. And you know what I was actually getting into? Shout out to Laird Hamilton is we would go to his house and train that XPT, the underwater with weights.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, bro.
That's the shit,
Dude, that XPT stuff is badass, man, because they developed it for getting held underwater after huge waves breaking, right? Big wave surfing. And it's easy on the joints. They bring dumbbells into the pool, like jumping off the bottom with the things, swimming back and forth with dumbbells, bro. It's fucking fun. man. It's cool. Yeah, look it up. XPT.
I'm about to check that out.
Yeah, you'll dig that.
Because I know I see a lot of UFC guys now for training. They'll toss weights in the pool.
Oh, bro, it's fun, dude. Yeah, it mixes it up.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, like I said, it's good on the joint because running on a treadmill fucking blows, man.
Dude, I don't want to even do it anymore.
Yeah, I hate that shit. But so okay, so you're jumping out and you start going into some of the training process. So you're working with some of those like old school vets, some SEALs and shit. So how'd that go? What was the first couple months?
It was the first real workout I went and did with one of the guys was the hardest thing I'd ever done ever. Dead serious.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was just a 2-hour beatdown session where we do a 1-hour pool, right? 1-hour pool, like sprints, like 50 meter, 100 meter sprints, hop out, 20 pull-ups, like not just do 20 pull-ups, but like on cadence, then hang, and you can't come down until like he says fucking come down, and so you're dying, right? Like holding up there, like again, right? And flutter kicks and just calisthenic exercises I hadn't really done, and then off to the track to do half-mile sprints, mixed in with burpee, mixed in with this, mixed in with that, pull-ups, like for 2 hours. Bro, I was smoked, but I felt great.
Yeah.
After doing it, it was eye-opening though. That's the only way I can describe it. It was fucking eye-opening. I was like, wow, this is how these motherfuckers are working out?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess this is what we're doing, right?
I was going to ask that. So it's probably the first time that you've been surrounded by that type of culture, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I always say this with martial arts in general. They attract pretty, you know, unique individuals, pretty disciplined people. So when you go to, you know, like I remember his former Green Beret, you know, goes to the gym. We were like shooting the shit, and he was talking about how he already ran 5 miles, and you know, we're going for a 6 a.m. class. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, bro. I'm like, I gotta be better because you know, this is a motherfucker that I'm going against on the mat. Dude's running 5 miles before you even get to class. What was the feeling, you know, being surrounded by that type of community? I'm not gonna say it was the first time, but if it was,
no, it's the first time, and because it was everybody trying to do the same thing for the most part. Not all SEAL candidates, but most. And it wasn't like a lot of dudes, man. It was like, because this was all extracurricular, right? Dudes can train on their own. This was all just, we're all civilians. And some of them has dads were SEALs or, you know, whatever. But some of these dudes were legit athletes, like could run. I was definitely like, I could swim, and I was strong, but I was fucking hurting on the runs. And so it pushed me. And it was a motivated group. It was guys trying to be SEALs, right? It wasn't slackers. And most of those guys passed. Not most, but percentage-wise, it was probably 25% for how, you know, from that very early on stage. And because who's going to seek out that's going to pass the guys who are going to be willing to do that extra stuff? And man, I needed that. Also just shin splints and shit like that, like stress fractures, right?
Yep.
All that time I did that for like a year was, dude, I never had a problem in buds. Dudes are having stress fractures and shit. I swear to God, that stuff helped me running on that blacktop and that asphalt and doing all that extra shit and getting that in good shape saved me, dude, because I had no injuries through buds. Zero.
Seriously.
Zero fucking injuries, dude.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. I had a problem with my feet one time. They got rubbed in, but that was like a bacterial thing on my feet. But I had no injuries. Never.
So do you think you're making it through without doing this kind of training process?
Nope.
Yeah.
1,000% no.
This was huge.
Yeah, 1,000% no, I would not have passed.
So you're going through the hardest workouts of your life. Was there what was the mindset? Was it like, fuck yeah, I'm doing this? Or was there something
I wasn't looking forward to it every time, but I felt so good about myself every time I finished. I was like that drive home felt good.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I really realized, like, man, if you work really hard, you feel good.
Yeah.
Right. I started to kind of want more of that seeking. It felt good to be doing positive shit again too.
Yeah, that purpose started.
Yeah, it started. Yeah, and I was like, I'm in this. I remember the moment I jumped in to the fucking. It was May 5th.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There we go.
It's May 5th. I took my first PST. I jumped into the pool to start. No, I pushed off the wall, and I remember pushing off the fucking wall and like the water kind of going. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm doing this. I'm in this pipeline. I'm in the Navy technically, like, and I'm doing my SEAL fucking screening test. I'm here. I ended up failing that fucking day, but
you were there.
But I was there, dude,
That's fucking, all right. So, man, so you're going through all these training and processes and stuff. Is this where you started to really get the feeling that like it was real? Like you mentioned in there where you realize like you're being a part of it, but also that it wasn't a given. Like you gotta
work for it. And man, I still didn't have a SEAL contract technically. So I still was on that turd wrangler contract that I was going to have to ship on. That was pushing me hard too.
You're stressed on that?
I was calling the fucking recruiter like every week. Hey, is my contract there? It's my contract. He's like, look, I'm going to fucking tell you when your contract's here. But dude, it's out to the point where I elevated scores. They have some, if you get 20 pull-ups and 100 push-ups or 100 sit-ups, like you were elevated. I was in the elevated group every time now. And some days I was getting the most pull-ups out of like 55 guys. So it was like, I'm not great at pull-ups by any stretch. Guy Smith, bro, shout out, bro. Mm-hmm. Every time he would show up, he'd do like fucking 50, man. Nothing like that. He's blasted. Guy Smith, he's a IFBB pro now. And anyway, I was feeling good. I'm like, bro, I'm like in this elevated score now. Sure enough, I get a call one time. They're like, your contract's here. That's when I knew. It was August 26th, 2009. I signed that contract, and that's when I knew I was fucking shipping on a SEAL contract.
What did the wait feel like when all that,
that day was fucking great.
Yeah.
That was like fucking, because I had walked out of jail 9 months before to the day. 9 months, I walked out of jail to the day.
That's crazy.
I was getting a SEAL contract, right? And technically that's not even really possible. Like things happen, right? The universe kind of comes together when you work hard. And bro, so it was like, fucking, this is like, no one can tell me this isn't real. Like you can do this shit. And fucking when I got it, even my mom was like, God damn, you actually made that shit happen. Right. But then the work was just starting.
Yeah, I was sad.
The work was just starting, man.
But so, damn, man. So 9 months you achieved that. I mean, was there like a moment when you got that contract and you're like, you kind of had to, because I would imagine for those 9 months and you were saying this, like you kind of just had to play it where you're like, oh no, it's a given. I'm going to get there. Like, I work hard, whatever, I'm going to get there. But obviously at any moment, shit could have just went.
Oh, I was not thinking that.
You were like,
oh, I was thinking there's no way this is going to happen.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was like, this is a long shot. I was not sure. I was really doubtful, full of fear. So that was pushing me hard.
Yeah.
I was putting it off the back. I was putting it out of my mind as much as possible. I was like, I'm just going to continue to go, not think about it too much. I can still show up and train. They're not telling me no. I'm just going to keep showing up, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I suggest to anybody, man. If you keep showing up, what do they say? Out of jiu-jitsu, man, keep showing up, bro. Keep showing up. Next thing you know, you're fucking doing better and better and better, right?
Yeah.
And things start happening if you keep showing up.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah. I don't know how I would handle that with a mindset, because I feel like, yeah, I guess it all to their own. Because like for me, I feel like I'd have to put it on the back, because I'd just be like, every day I'd be thinking about it. My performance would be shit. I just have to pretend. Like I'd just be like, man, I got this. But like,
that's what you do. Bro. You kind of have to pretend,
or
just forget about it, man. Like, or just deliberately
live day to day.
Deliberately go, okay, I'm not thinking about that right now. And I, for sure, I was failing at it, and I was thinking about it and worried about it at times, and it would come in waves sometimes, when you're in those low vibrational moments, when that negative self-talk starts. So there's no way this is going to happen. That was happening for sure.
So you catch the contract. What's the feeling? And I guess what comes after?
Then it was just more training. Then it was just more of the same.
Yeah.
Until I left. And then I left February 10th. And this was like 14 years ago to the day. It was like my first day in boot camp.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's damn.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to say that so many times, but when you start thinking about the dates, man, it's just like weird. You can always find those.
Yeah. And you know what? The importance of the dates, why I say people should start paying attention to them. It's how the universe speaks to us in numbers. Mm-hmm. Right? Have you ever been kind of moving in, like things kind of are in sequence and you start seeing number sequences and things?
Yeah.
That shit's not by coincidence. dates are the same. When you start understanding these universal principles and the universe is binary, it speaks in numbers, and a lot is orchestrating around you in numbers. So when you start seeing dates and things lining up, bro, you start to really, that's when you have good confirmation that you're in alignment. Mm-hmm. That's when you'll start to experience those things a lot. And when you'll start noticing those things when you're feeling good, when things are moving, right? And that's what a lot of people, if you're not experiencing that or you're not even thinking in that plane, then your level of consciousness isn't raised enough, or you need to change and shift some shit around.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's one of those things where it's like people, I got a question for this later that we'll kind of get to, but it is one of those things where people, when you start seeing it and you start reflecting on it, is when you really start to realize like what you're saying is it's so easy to look at and be like, it's not true. Yeah. But then you start looking, reflecting, and kind of tying shit together, and you're like, God damn, there's a lot of stuff that's overlapping here for one reason or another.
And it's so much and so often, dude, it can't be coincidence.
Yeah. So you're shipping off to boot camp. What's the feeling there, man? Because you're going from, again, like so many hurdles to jump.
Yeah. I felt finally, but I was still worried that some shit was going to creep up, right? I still had more layers of questions and more layers of, hey, have you said everything? Those moments of truth, you're going to get put in jail. But the beautiful thing was, I was like, I just got out of jail.
Yeah, I've been there.
What are you going to send me back? So I had no fear. Yeah. I had no fear about fucking being fully committed to my story and what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever get questioned about that hard, or like, was there ever...
Oh yeah,
with the guys in like, how did that?
Not the guys, but like you have more layers and stuff. Like, well, where were you during this time? I'm like, strategic memory, but it was so confusing, and I had so much stuff that it was really hard to keep track of, even for me, right? And our computer systems in the United States aren't like super locked on, and so dates were off, and things were not clear, and so it was actually very confusing. And getting in. Meeting those fucking solid dudes, right? We had a great boot camp of all SEAL candidates. It was at the time, 100 guys, only like 9 or 10 or something like that made it, but solid cats that are still operating at the tip of the spear now, right? Yeah. That I'm still really, really close and connected with. So and that was at that beginning, early stages, man. So I was like, oh, these are the guys I'm working with. Come to find out, these guys happen to be really legit also. So I felt really lucky with where I ended up.
Was there any imposter syndrome, or was it like, I belong here?
I felt like I was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I felt like I was supposed to be there. And I was humbled by how good some dudes were at shit, right? I'm like that bee. I'm like a good bee, right? With everything, my grades, like my fucking, like all my test scores. I'm like, right this side of the bell curve, right? Like right here, right? I'm hardy, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sturdy, and I'm like right here, right? So I could like not my running though. It's always like pretty bad, but I could pass everything, right? I could pass everything, and that was the difference. Is anybody behind me too slow to be a SEAL? Anybody in front of me fast enough? Like I was like the line, but everything else I was pretty good at, and man, just solid, motivated. High caliber individuals. It felt fucking correct. And everybody wants to be a fucking warrior, not even a soldier, warrior, dude. And so that was cool being fucking in it, right? I felt like I was where I was supposed to be.
Was there any points of any like retrospective thought? You're kind of looking at, these guys, their stories and shit. And, like you're saying, you come from a hectic background and then you jump in this community is like, we're getting shit done.
Yeah.
It's all about business or whatever. Like, was there kind of like I don't know what the word, like a retrospective where you're just kind of looking and being like, I want to continue to shape myself to be like the crew around me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were high caliber dudes, but we were all just kind of broing out, making jokes and like laughing. Like we were all I've always kind of just been me.
Yeah.
But it definitely raises your level when you have dudes you are who you're around. Right. It was all American athletes and dudes who played pro baseball and shit like that, and just high caliber dudes, but everyone's just human.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone's got that special operator seed planted in them and wants to do it. I respect a lot of dudes gave up a lot to be there. And those are so I was humbled and grateful.
So jumping from there, you get guys going through boot camp. What do you think was the hardest moment when you were going through that?
Just the grind, Just the grind. Like we would have to get in the pool in boot camp specifically, and they wouldn't give us goggles. Even though it sounds weird, we'd swim for like 2 hours and in the super chlorinated pool, and everyone just be, and I'm like, fuck, man. Just the Navy stuff. You're dealing with the Navy boot camp stuff, and it's just like, fuck, man, folding your underwear and, getting beat down by that. And there was some tough beat down sessions that those petty officers would put us through because they didn't have any governors. They're like, we got all these SEAL candidates. We're going to crush these guys, right? Not knowing that like some of the worst beatings I ever got were in boot camp because these guys didn't know like what was like too far. Right? Yeah. So we would get fucking crushed, man. Like just the place would be a sauna, like just dripping in sweat for like getting beat down for a long time. So that was tough, man. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is going to be a long grind, but it's one of those just don't think about the whole picture. It was too daunting.
Yeah. So attrition rate, a good majority obviously drop off. You're one of the few that make it through.
Yep.
So I guess what does that look like, and what was the feeling when you were, I mean, literally one of the 9% that actually made that through?
Yeah. It felt good, man, because the 9 that were like made it, you would thought would have made it.
Yeah.
And like you got a 1 or 2 that you're like, whoa, this guy made it. And a lot of guys who you thought didn't. Yeah. Right. And it was cool to, man, graduating buds was a great feeling.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That was a cool feeling when we finished our 3rd phase. We were out at the island, San Clemente Island. We just finished our final training exercise. And he goes, I'll never forget what he said. He goes, okay. He goes, hey, motherfuckers, you successfully navigated basic underwater demolition school. And I just remember being like, whoa. Because I, for years, watched those documentaries and stuff about buds in college. And when I'm watching documentaries on buds, like procrastinating on my homework, thinking about, becoming a SEAL, watching buds. And now I fucking passed buds. Yeah. That was a cool feeling.
I was going to say, too, with all the background, too. Like you gave up a lot, man. You're in fucking jail for a couple months to be able to even have the opportunity to go through camp and stuff. And, all the other stuff that you had to overcome. I mean, you're not only going through but and like achieving that, which for everyone else, it's like, damn, I fucking did this. You're kind of playing a gamble too. So
yeah, man. It was a hard gamble. You're absolutely right, man. It was a hard dice roll where anytime they could have been like, hey, your background. Cause like even right after Hell Week, they hit me. They were like, hey, you have a security clearance issue. Dead serious. And after Hell Week, and I was like, no. God. And they pulled me into the office. I was like, no. I was like, and then what I thought when they called me into the security clearance office after Hell Week was I knew it was too good to be. I knew it wasn't going to work out for me.
Everything was going well.
I knew it wasn't going to work out for me, right? That feeling, because I had never wanted something so bad that I was like, there's no way it's going to fucking happen, right? I had never wanted anything that bad that fucking, right? I had cut out a Trident out of paper, black and white, and I put it on my mirror when I was training. Right, as a civilian, just to look at it every day, to be like, that's fucking going on my chest one day.
No shit.
Every day, right? Yeah. And I would look at it, and I would have moments where I go, there's fucking no way that's gonna happen. I was like, it's fucking, I want it too bad. Mm-hmm. And so when that happened, I was like, then I get in, right? And then it's doing it. And I'm like going, then I pass Hell Week. Then I'm like, holy fuck. And then they hit me with that. I go, fucking. But then it goes away.
What was the problem there?
They don't know. No, they never even fucking told me. Dead serious. They go, hey, they were like, asking me, like, and then they go, come back, and then it just never came back up. No idea. Extended Hell Week. Still no idea what it was. Yeah. And next thing I know, I'm passing buds, right? And I'm like, holy fuck. Okay, now we're on to SQT, and that was a whole thing.
And so you moved on. Yeah, man, they continued Hell Week with that. They were just trying to fuck with you.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah. That's so crazy, man. That's all right. So you know what's crazy mentioning that paper Trident, because I actually had a guy from the FBI who did a similar thing where he had a piece of paper every day in his locker he would look at, and it was the same type of deal. And again, it's crazy how that type of like mental imagery, that type of messaging, like that goes a long way, where it's like something to look at and drive you every day, where you're just like, this gets me through.
I even think it's more than drive. There's something that's like, it structures your reality in a different way. I wrote my name in college when I was in that basement, Taylor Cavanaugh, United States Navy SEAL. I wrote, I had it on my desktop as the background. Well, I was in Boston in fucking junior college doing landscaping.
Some manifesting.
And I just, but it was seeing it as reality, right? That's goal writing. And who knows why it works? Who knows why writing it in down works, right? Because once you see it, it's like writing your weight down, writing, I'm going to be this weight or this goal. Man, you write it down. It's so fucking interesting how much easier it happens.
Yeah.
Or it happens more realistically.
Do you think it's because you were just highlighting, there was times you'd look at that and be like, that's never fucking going on my chest.
Yeah.
Do you think it's part of it builds a level of confidence where it's like, it just keeps you pushing?
It's that universal principle, that law of, you're keeping it on the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
And putting that energy out there. And who knows how it structures and comes back to you. Right? It's kind of things going on beyond our comprehension with the orchestrating systems. But things are happening. It can't hurt.
Yeah.
It can't fucking hurt, man.
So the law of attraction.
Yeah, absolutely. That law of attraction. Man, write it down. You're not going to be worse off. Yeah. Guaranteed.
Damn, man. That's so interesting. It's crazy how often I bring people in here for the stories, and like I don't know why it's popping up specifically today too, because I guess we're just really diving into that side of stuff. But yeah, man, I see that all the time, and it's like it is something that actually separates people from, or successful from the unsuccessful. Is like those small little commitments, buy-ins, like that type of stuff that you do just to make yourself get over that finish line. You
have to. Man, if you can't see it as reality, it's not happening.
Yeah.
That old Yogi Berra saying, man, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
So well said. Man, if you can't see yourself in shape, right? And how are you gonna know what you want to look like?
Yeah.
Right. If you can't see your head on an in shape body, how is somebody who's fat gonna fucking be able to like make that happen? Right. I mean, it's gonna be a lot harder, and it's just I don't even know if it will happen, because you have to build the psychology to believe that you actually are that. Because if you're not, all your habits are going to fall by the way. If you actually think you are that in shape person, you'll start to build the habits that will actually fucking make that happen, right? If you think that you're that Navy SEAL, man, you're going to fucking start to fucking do the things that a fucking Navy SEAL would do.
Yeah.
Right? What's a Navy SEAL going to be doing, right? If you don't have that, you're like, fucking, well, then I'm just going to chill on the couch, right? Because I'm not,
Yeah.
That's man. It definitely has to do with action.
No, yeah, 100%. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like
it perpetuates the action.
Yeah.
It facilitates the action.
So jumping forward, you finish up there, you moving into, when do you start getting assigned for Team 7? Because I know that's
right at the end of SQT.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how did that all go?
Man, it was fantastic, because that's where I wanted to go, and I wanted to go West Coast, and they were like, hey, we're going to SEAL Team 7, and they give us our orders. It was a fucking cool day. So again, it's like something that's just working out perfect too. Yeah, I felt like I was on this divine wave, man. Yeah. I was like where I wanted to be, the team I wanted to be at, I'm there. It was like really felt like a divine wave.
So what was the personal stuff going on too? Like at this point, like were you running into any problems? Like
no, I ran into a little problem at the NSQT. I got arrested for drunk in public, but it kind of got swept under the rug.
Yeah.
But I was like nervous and the shame and go like, oh fuck, I almost threw away my whole, like I was playing with fire.
Yeah.
Almost a SEAL and like, but thinking, hey, I'm just out with the boys, not knowing, not really, dude, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You don't have control of other people either. That's the other piece, man. You can have control of yourself, but you don't have control of other people or what happens around you. So you're really playing with fire, especially when you have something that important to lose, right? If you get picked up, it's done. It's stupid, but made it through. No real issues, right? I was still locked on as fuck, dude. I was going to bed on fucking Saturday. I was like totally, I didn't feel like I had anything to celebrate, right? But right at the end, we did. And I almost got burned for it. And going into the beginning of the team, language school, and the team, like we were going out and stuff, but we were in a celebratory mood for sure. And it was happy, man. Happy, sick place, living with another team guy, locked on, disciplined, going to the gym early, fucking in schools, right? I was in Arabic for a while, and then I was in communication school. And so like on it, stacking my fucking clothes and my food night before, like really fucking dialed the fucking
disciplined as hell.
Oh yeah, man. And achieving measures of success into that and really fucking happy, you know, bought the nice truck, had this stuff, like paid off the student loans. Like, I was like, shit's going fucking good, man.
Yeah, the boys are looking good.
Yeah, shit's looking good. Yeah.
Did you ever have a moment where you looked back on that October 11th date too and be like, damn, look where we made it here?
Yeah, man. On October 11th,
yeah,
I had my homie, Jimmy Watson. He was a recon Marine, Blackwater, Navy SEAL. He's done a lot of shit. He was at my house on October 11th, 2011.
Okay.
And I remember being like in Mission Valley, you know, right down the road from where that had happened. And now I'm in a nice place and we're just like, I'm just have that moment. I'm like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Wild, you know? Cause I used to read this book on Blackwater when I was kind of going in the teams. I'm like, man, and I was reading this book about.
Was that ever a consideration as well?
Man, well, I didn't have the experience.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I needed a special operations experience. So I was just reading about all the shit that went down and I'm like, man, who the fuck are these guys, right? That are like operating in this and fucking, man, one day I want the respect of like some dudes like this or being the next thing I know, I have my best homie who's in that book at my house on that day.
And you're one of those dudes.
And he's my best friend. You know, I'm like, I had that level. I felt like, whoa, bro, it's like happening, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving forward from there, you guys are going through all the training process and everything. Your first deployment ends up being out to Yemen, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So what was the mindset going into that? Was it like
fucking stoked?
Yeah.
It's just growing a beard, getting weird. You know, it was not a hot deployment, but it was low visibility, off the flagpole, living on a small camp in tents. Mm-hmm. Exactly what I wanted to be doing.
Yeah.
You know, at least regarding just
why
being working.
Is that why'd you want to be doing that out in Yemen?
I just wanted to be working.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have a beard and like not have to shave and you know just like doing that special operator thing, you know. And so I was really happy to be experiencing that, riding around on ATVs and fucking doing that whole deal, and a lot of responsibility because there was only 2 new guys that were allowed on that deployment because there was such a tight numbers limit. They were only letting like fucking 10 or 11 SEALs in the whole country.
Why was that?
Don't know. It was just the ambassador. That was the rules at the time in Yemen. So we were low visibility and like Arc'teryx stuff. Fucking
really?
Yeah. With no uniforms. Like we came in gray inserted at night on a fucking old Russian runway and rode ATVs off the back.
Was there any situations that happened there? Or was it pretty?
No, it was chill. We were training the counterterrorism unit and, you know, there were some iffy things, but it was, that base ended up getting overrun by the Houthis about 2 years later that we built it. Yeah. So it got all smoke checked.
Those fucking groups, man. They're fucking doing everything crazy now. What, did you have a moment out there too, I guess, when, it's always interesting hearing perspective, especially when, you know, you're out of country. Was there a moment there where it kind of just felt real? Like, you know, you're operating.
I'll tell you exactly when I felt it. Because I was a sniper, right? New guy sniper, you know, but I was really lucky to go to sniper school. But so I would take the watch at 3 to 6 in the morning up in the sniper tower. And guys would cycle through. It wasn't just for, you know, sniper necessarily specifically, but I would go up there with my gun and my coffee and my body armor at 3 in the morning, and it's dark and it's hot in the summer, and I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette, drinking my coffee, and then the morning prayer would start in the town near us and be like, and just every morning I would hear that. And it was at that moment where I just was like, whoa.
We're somewhere else, yeah.
I am doing this, man. And I reflected back to being in jail and going, whoa, bro. Like I fucking had this, and now I'm sitting as a Navy SEAL on fucking watching a sniper tower.
Yeah.
4 years to the day. Right. 4 years that took to get to there. That straight training and working to be sitting on that deployment. It was 4 fucking years. 3.5 really to get on the deployment, but 4 years.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah. And I was just sitting there going, and just watching the dogs and watching the people start to wake up and patterns of life. And
there's a level of eeriness too. I mean,
oh yeah, man. Man. It was surreal moments. Those powerful moments that a lot of people don't get to experience, but I was glad to be sitting there kind of experiencing it.
Yeah. Do you have any close calls when you're out there?
No, it wasn't bad. We just had the threats. Yeah, we were so far removed and stuff. It was kind of like things were tense. You're in Yemen. You know, it's a fucking. That's what I was. Yeah. And we did security for the ambassador there in the capital and stuff, and moving around, and that, you're working with the diplomatic security service and stuff. And so, I was driving, I was doing blocking driving and stuff. So that was not bad, but not too crazy.
So you come back from your first deployment. I mean, overall, I guess, was there any like key takeaways that you'd say from that you really felt that you...
Man, I just learned the benefit of a good system and program, right? And I kind of knew it, but I really, getting on that good rotation, that good workout. Okay, that's into every day the same thing. That was helpful there, and I really enjoyed it. And I was happy, man. I was fucking happy.
Yeah. And then what was the brotherhood like at that point too? You guys really starting to... I mean,
yeah, you got your little clashes, but dude, I was actually just talking to right before I got here with one of my homies. You kind of look like him actually, and who I was there with, and I'm still connected with those guys. So it was cool, man.
Yeah. So you ended up coming back from Yemen. I know this is where you're taking leave in Idaho, correct?
Yeah, coming up soon. Yeah.
Okay. So,
but I get arrested right after I come back from this.
Yeah. So what happened in that situation there?
Yeah, I just moved downtown and started drinking, man. Just like, now I'm not a new guy anymore, right? I'm in that celebratory mood. Yeah. It was never like, it didn't feel like escapism. It was actually quite the opposite. I was like, let's fucking go. I feel great about life and everything in general. Things are going great. Let's ruin it all, right? Let's, which is really what you're doing when you're doing that shit, when you're going about it recklessly.
Yeah.
That's what it was, right? I was going about it recklessly. I wasn't like, and thinking it wasn't reckless, but it was, if you just start slamming shots of Jack Daniels all night, dude, shit's going to go south.
Yeah. The dark alcohol is going to
shit's going to go south, man. Yeah. Maybe not once, maybe not. It's all fine till it's not.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what would happen. And it would be like a lot of close calls, a lot of shit could have went bad, but thinking you're having fun, but then just not really living right, and dealing with hangovers and just stupid shit where you could have been I could have been progressing, spending money I shouldn't have been spending, just could have been building and not just living for the moment. And I think some of that is a special operation world. You're like, it's dangerous. And so you're also in that like warrior culture where it's just kind of part of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was living, but I was happy. Get drawn another drug in public, same type of thing. And then really have a really good year. Trainings, things are going well, really like getting really in shape. And then that kind of ego and that momentum starts growing. And that's when it was like almost a year after when I got arrested in Idaho, starts an aggravated assault case and fucking that whole thing. That was difficult because now I'm fighting for my life, fighting for my career, facing 6 years in prison.
Can you explain the situation in Idaho just so...
Yeah, I hit a guy in a bar one time, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
People comment on my fucking, it couldn't have been one time. I'm like, well, you obviously don't know what a GBH is. Like, fucking, all you need to do is hurt somebody.
Yeah.
You don't need to hit him with a fucking bat, dude. If you hurt somebody, man, it's a GBH. It's a felony charge.
Also, if you know how to fight.
Yeah, dude. If you know how to throw a punch, you can fucking
easy.
hurt. And that's what also I learned. Now, do not punch people fucking unless your life's in fucking danger, right? Because things happen, man. There's people in prison who hit somebody and they fall down and die.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's not worth it. It's unless you're really in fucking danger, it's stupid.
You also don't know who you're punching too, bro. Like, I can't imagine someone, I don't know who the fuck was fucking with you at that bar.
Dude.
That blows my mind.
Bro, and but I was quick on the punch too. I wasn't allowing anybody to, hit me, so I put myself in a bad situation. That's why I say that's what's like taking the ownership piece. People are like, that's shit. No, I brought that on myself.
Yeah.
I could have fucking removed myself from the situation. I was not an immediate threat, right? I was probably disrespected and fucking like just didn't like it, right? And I felt the energy building throughout for like hours, and I should have removed myself, but I was too drunk to fucking do it. That's the truth. I was too drunk to control myself, and that's that losing of wits. As a man, you can't lose your emotional control. The minute you do, that's the minute we break character, and that's the minute we always regret. Have you ever been fucking drunk and lost control of yourself and felt proud about it? Never. Never. The times we wake up and we're fucking mad at ourselves, it's like the time we knew we lost control. Nothing even really bad have to have happened, but we feel that inner guilt,
that anxiety,
that Sunday scary when you know you were like out of control. that doesn't feel good because we know it's wrong and we know like it's fucking, you're riding that line. And so that's what happened, man. And I fought it and ended up going to Iraq on bail, man.
So before getting there, just how do you look back on that situation now? Is it solely with regret, or do you look at it as kind of like a lesson learned, like we're talking about?
Man, it was still like, I'm like, ugh, like that was not a fun time, but it had to happen for me to be sitting here, you know, that butterfly effect of stuff. So, you know, but let's subtract the butterfly effect of stuff from now. People go, you don't regret. Fuck yeah, I regret that. Let's subtract the, you know, reality of having to have happened to be here. We all understand that. But fuck yeah, man. If I fucking wouldn't have done that, right, it would have caused me so much fucking shit, money, and just stress and fucking fuck that, dude. What I could have been, who knows what I could have done with my career, but I've totally fucking derailed it with that.
Yeah, I mean, just to give a counterpoint for that, or not a counterpoint, but just adding to it, is that like I feel like a lot of people hear that and then they want to immediately go the negative, be like, doesn't regret it or this or that. And it's like, you should, the only time it's a real negative is if you look back on the situation with no regret, but there's no lesson learned too. Like you have nothing, there's been no change. You're just the same. You know what I mean? Like that, if that's the case, then, but you know, where you're sitting today, who you become, what you've developed, what you're offered to the world now, it's like there was clearly a lesson learned. So, you know, whether regret, what the conversation around that, it's its own thing. But the idea of it, the idea that there was the butterfly effect, like that's something important that people can't just take out, because it happens for everybody. Everyone makes mistakes. And it's like, if you learn on those mistakes, oftentimes that critical kind of juncture changed everything. It made you into what you are today.
It absolutely did.
Could be, for a lot of people, ends up not being a good thing, but for people that actually end up doing, you know, incredible things, it ends up being kind of a really important lesson learned, you know, whether it's bad or good.
We learn with pain.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of pain, man. A lot of fucking real deep regret. Man.
So what was the situation that happened there? So you guys are about to be shipping off to Iraq. You're going through this legal, you know, legal battle for the whole situation there. So how were you able to go? So they put you on bail and they let you.
They extended the court date, right? Just from administrative stuff. And we talked to the lawyer, talked to the judge, and they're like, well, this is court date extending. We're like, well, he's got to go to Iraq coming up. Technically, they're like, fuck it. Okay. He's got, the team wrote a letter. They're like, okay, well. So there I went, man. Next thing I know, I'm on a helicopter flying from Baghdad to like just south of Mosul. And I'm sitting on the fucking, dude, I'm sitting out the door and watch it, and it's nighttime. I'm on night vision, and helicopters are always a really interesting, poignant, like time of introspection. It's like quiet, you're in comms. Like we were just me and another guy flying alone up there, and I'm sitting there watching, and I'm seeing like bullets flying from like little gangs or something. You know, they're just shooting at each other, and I'm just looking at the tracer rounds, and I'm going, "What the fuck? I'm here." I totally like thought I was going to prison. Right? How am I here? Right? Wow. Like fucking thank God. Like I just remember being like because it had been, you know, 4 months of hell, 5 months of just like, well, I think I'm going to prison, losing my career. Well, maybe next thing I know, I'm in Iraq, and I'm like, fucking yes. Yeah. I was like, man, maybe if I die out here, at least I won't have to deal with that shit. Right.
Was there a level? I mean, I can't imagine. I actually can't imagine it, obviously, like being in a war zone. There's obviously a lot of anxiety there. But having that on your shoulders as well.
Oh, like, bro, that was brutal. That was a brutal deployment. I had some dark moments. I wasn't my best. I'll admit that. I was having dark moments at night, man, and just going we'll worry about it later. I'll worry about it later, right? I trained my ass off. I was getting jacked, man. I was 180 days straight, didn't miss a day. I was trying to just turn myself, and then the day was getting closer. I volunteered to stay there to do another augmentation of the team and for my qualification. And I went, oh man, I got to come back, and now I have to, everyone's excited to go home. And I was not.
Yeah,
I was not excited, because the reality was, at least it was like putting pause on reality. Right. I was out there, and like, it felt like that. I was like, okay, now at least no matter what, I don't have to deal with it yet. But oh shit, next thing you know, we're redeploying soon, and I was going to have to deal with it.
I know you said, I've heard you say this kind of as a joke, where you were saying that join the Iraqi rebel
Yeah,
forces.
the Kurdish Peshmerga.
Was there, like, how close was that actually a consideration?
Man, I thought about it. Yeah. I thought about it. I'm not lying, because there was an American I saw out there. Mm-hmm. And I went, I could fucking stay here. But it was like, what if I can beat this case?
Yeah.
Like that. And then I throw away my whole life, right? Because you're not going, you can't, you know. So it was quasi joke, but when you joke, you're only half kidding. Yeah, it had passed across my mind, because I was that, I didn't want to go to prison for fucking 6 years, dude. I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah. That's going to suck, man. And what's the funny part is I wasn't worried about prison. I was more worried about losing being a SEAL.
Yeah.
So that actually kind of helped the thing, because I'm like, well, I'm definitely not gonna be a SEAL if I fucking you know. So it was just kind of fucking around mentally. But
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, obviously, definitely takes as a joke, but I know I'd be thinking that same shit where you're just like, man, it's right fucking there. Like, I'm here already too.
Yeah, I'm here already. I was like, I'm all right. I'm gonna be eating boiled goat and fucking, you know. No, but that was it.
So you're coming back now, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. You got to be the only one in your group that's like, I don't want to fucking get back home. But you're coming back to face that music.
I was like, fuck, dude. And I got back, and then I think my girlfriend at the time was having some issues. I saw some stuff was going on, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So there was like other stuff stacked on top. But they keep extending that court date. So now I'm back in training. Now I'm, you know, still like continuing on. Then the fucking court date comes up, and I go up there and kind of handle it, and fucking thought I'm walking the plank, man. I go to the strip club all night, show up. I'm like drunk as shit day of the fucking trial, 3-day fucking trial, bro. We were about to do jury selection, bro. Jesus and I was just Christ. Like, hadn't slept, bro. I'm fucking in my dress blues going, I thought I was just fucking going to prison, man. I thought I was toast. And then my lawyer called me and goes, they got a deal for you. And so they're going to bump it to a misdemeanor. But
called Sal.
But it's maxed out with all the penalties on a misdemeanor and money.
So what does that mean? Like, so what
formal probation, interstate compact. I had to report to a probation officer, couldn't own a weapon, fucking couldn't drink, couldn't like.
As a SEAL.
Couldn't travel outside of San Diego, needed approval every time. It was like real tight. And I had to pay the guy a bunch of fucking money. So I had to sell my truck, give him my Iraq check, and I did, to pay the restitution to fucking keep it a misdemeanor.
And that all sat.
And serve time. Right? And serve time.
Yeah, how long did you end up?
They gave me like 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something like that.
How different was it than the prison that you ended up having to do in San Diego?
Well, I was in Santa Cruz, but and I had been in San Diego too for a few days too. It was kind of the same, but more structured, right? It's a little bit bigger of a jail, and they're like 180s, and so it's 2 tiers and a little bit more formalized, a little bit bigger.
Okay. And then, so you're coming back, kind of get the case somewhat settled, everything's clear.
Yeah, so at least I get it managed, and then then I get my top secret security clearance back because it had gotten pulled for like a week or two. So, bro, I realized, I'm like, dude, I have my top secret security clearance back. I got my fucking, I'm fucking cleared up.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I fucking made it, dude. And I'm still fucking good, you know? And then I just kind of started training and doing my thing.
Do you think there's a level of self-sabotage that happened with some of this stuff, that the fact that you kind of kept sneaking on a lot of these and like, you know, not, you know what I mean?
Man, it's just like, it must have been. Yeah. Well, it definitely was self-sabotage, but why?
Yeah.
I fucking have really racked my brain, because it's something that people need to be taught. Like I touched on before. Yeah. There's a self-worth piece. There's a habit piece. If your habits don't match your outcome, you're going to fucking have problems. You're not aligned. My outcomes were, I wanted to be jacked, in shape, successful SEAL, but my habits were not aligned with that. You're going to fucking have problems. And that's what I was doing, you know, again and again. And that's a self-worth. And that's also just a fucking wisdom piece and an intelligence piece to recognize when you're not aligned and what you need to do to get back aligned, and having the tools. And that's why I go with, you know, why I think coaching is so important, because you need people who are a little bit further along, developed emotionally or whatever, in terms of experience, to tell you where the holes in your game are.
Yeah.
To pull back. I've had to do it. I reached out to and fucking showed me some things, and it fucking helped me. And go, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing. I didn't even think, because you don't know what you don't know, right? You can't learn what you think you already know. If you think you already got life figured out,
you don't.
You fucking, okay. Michael Jordan had a coach.
Yeah.
People fucking talk about, dude, Michael Jordan had a fucking coach. Are you the best at life ever? No, then fucking, you probably need a coach. Everybody needs a mentor in some capacity. Yeah. You're going to benefit 100%.
No, I fully agree with that. Yeah, no.
And I should have sought it out, right? And I should have sought that out, or actually been like, I needed help, right? I was not conscious enough, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is, because I feel like that's a pretty common place too, where, I mean, I've made plenty of mistakes in my life too. And it's like when you're still able to get past them, you're kind of like, I can conquer this again. I've done it. You know what I mean? Like you've done it. You did it at that point before you did it again. And so you don't really look at it and be like, maybe it's time to switch.
And I tried.
Yeah.
And I did for like a month or 6 weeks. And I was really at events, not doing anything. I'm like, oh, I can't, right? I can't. At weddings and stuff. And I was like, no. And I was really trying. And then it was like, I don't even know when it started, but it was like chick wanted to go to fucking
out the bars or something.
Yeah, like go somewhere. I'm like, all right, fuck it. It always kind of started with like with that pleasure seeking, right? Not purpose driven. Mm-hmm. That's where it would start, right? It was like, if you make two choices, purpose driven or pleasure driven, bro, if you choose that purpose driven path, your life's going to go much better.
Yeah.
What are you really doing out with a chick drinking when you're like, that's all pleasure driven. Mm-hmm. There's no purpose driven there, right? You're not, if it's not like seeking to date for a wife, right? It was just completely just escapism and avoidance of other shit I could have been doing, right? To better myself, building a business, learning some more shit. There's so many things you could be doing that I just was like, I'd rather go party and fucking with some random chick, and it was not the fucking smart thing to be doing.
Do you think that there was a difficulty separation, like pleasure, like for me, pleasure, for you, for like working out now?
Yeah.
That's like, let me get that fucking workout. Let me go do this. Do you think that at that time, it still hadn't been able to match? Like, because I feel like a lot of people that have that too, where they have that party bug. Like I got buddies like that they're like, oh, why are we not going to go get drinks? Do we really mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think it was just a difficulty finding that
it was
pleasure?
Yeah, man. Well, it was unlearning what I learned. What do you do?
Yeah.
When you have time off?
Yeah.
It was that. It was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. It's like that. Yeah. I hadn't learned the skills to, well, also I didn't have a larger purpose. I didn't have something to work on.
Yeah.
You have to have a project to work on. And I don't mean fucking whittling wood. I mean like something that's going to make you money that you actually, or something you give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Something really that's going to create something. Now it's like, I don't have the fucking time, dude, And so that's why I'm a SEAL, right? I achieved this. Well, you still need some more shit, right? And that's why I had stopped growing. I need to stack. I should have been stacking more responsibilities and things on, and I hadn't.
So let's get to when stuff starts to really fall apart there.
Yeah.
So you have, you're on the kind of good and narrow for there, and then it starts slowly breaking down, and then you end up going to
concert, hop in a fucking golf cart, get stopped by the cops, like, what the fuck you doing, right? And it was like a county golf cart. And I'm like, I'm not, I try running, and they fucking sick the dog, and it snowballs. Next thing I know, I'm in a fucking cop car, right? I'm going, oh fuck, right? I just fucked myself, right? Yeah. That's how fast it happened. It was like that. Just as fast as I explained it is pretty much how fast it fucking happened, right? And that's how fast a decision can be made. It only makes one fuck to remove 1,000 attaboys.
I like that. That's
right? That's all it takes.
Yeah.
All it fucking takes. And that's what it took. And they were like, I said, call SEAL Team 7. Like, I just was charging the machine gun nest. I wasn't trying to hide anything. I told the cop to call the fucking command.
Yeah.
Just tell them what the fuck's up. I'm fucked. Right?
Yeah.
And they did. And it was snowball. And that's when the snowball started. And then I was, next thing I know, I'm in jail again. Then it kicked off the mountain of shit. Now I'm violated of probation.
I was going to say.
Now I violated on another violent charge. Now I'm fighting a new case. Now I'm fucking on violation in Idaho. I have fucking federal marshals trying to extradite me from California as an active duty Navy SEAL. I have warrants. I'm flying to, dude, now I have 3 attorneys in fucking 2 states.
Hemorrhaging money too.
Bro, it was like, whoa. But I'm dating a chick I'm like falling in love with at the same time. There was like all this shit happening. And it was like, so I could at least kind of forget some of the pain I was dealing with. It was absolute. I don't know how I was standing.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
right. I don't know how I was standing up. I was just trying to continue to work out. I was trying to just continue to I had become a master at shelving things and being like, okay, right. And that's what I think a lot of helped with my mental ability to compartmentalize, which is probably one of my strengths now, is what I had to do for so long and compartmentalizing with, oh man, I wonder if I'm gonna be a SEAL, like so many times I could just box it and go, okay, well,
focus on the now.
I don't know. I can't. Yeah. It's not happening right now. The axe isn't falling now.
Yeah.
What am I dealing with right now? Right. And then I wasn't really like living right too, bro. I was even during all that shit, man, I'm like smoking weed sometimes now, still time like, cause I'm off. I'm like, I'll smoke. Like, dude, I was I almost fucked myself once. I had to take a drug test. They're like, hey, everybody in the command's taking a drug test. And I'm like, thought we're going on vacation in December. They like caught everybody. So I'm in the fucking shower, bro, running.
Sweating it out, yeah.
I drank 3 gallons of water in like an hour and a half.
Really?
Felt like I was going to die. It was like, dude, not felt like I was going to die. Something was terribly wrong. I had like overhydrated. But I passed, man. I was pissing cold, dude.
I had some guys on the team that would have to pass the NCAA test, man. I know what you're talking. Like it would hit and your name would come out like a random email, but you have been selected. It's the next day at 6 a.m. So dudes would stay up all night, chug water and shit, hit the sauna and everything. And there's even techniques, man. Like, so it's like the first third of your piss and the last third of your piss have like everything in it.
Yeah.
So it was in the stadium. So you'd like go pee just a little bit. And then you go in and then you have to do it just so you keep out the back third. And then you give them the cup and then you go out and you're in the stadium again. And then you finish out the last third. It was like down to a science.
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
Yeah. No,
you got to, man.
Sucks.
You got to do what you got to do.
Sucks.
And it was like, why do I put myself in this situation for such dumb shit, man? And I was fucking, even like on the tail end where I'm about to get kicked out there, I'm having to go to Idaho and I had been sniffing cocaine and I'm like trying to pass dude, it was, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. This was full self-sabotage mode where like fucking, I was like, whatever. Trying to make monies in ways I shouldn't have been. Trying to fucking, just not fucking go, just pay these attorneys. Bro, it was wow.
So you flip from there and then obviously it leads to, dismissal, leaving the SEAL team. The way you got moved out was...
Yeah, it was actually a failed PED test, a steroid test. The big Navy NCIS or JAG, they read the police report, like this guy's on performance enhancing drugs, and I was, and they fucking sent it up to.
So that's illegal for SEALs, like they.
No, yeah, it's looked at as drugs, man. It's looked at as zero tolerance, and so it's a legal substance technically, right? And they sent it up to the Olympic Testing Center. Spent like fucking $5,000 on it or $2,000, whatever it is, and I popped hot. Yeah. And I got cycled out. It took, some months and I got a general under honorable.
Yeah, which is huge.
That was massive. That was the story. Went to jail again in Idaho to take care of but it commuted my probation. Surprisingly enough, that fucking thing caused me to go back. And now I was completely off all probation. So I had a commuted sentence. So I had 3 years commuted off that. Life works out weird. So I walked out of jail. No military, free and clear, done. Completely off paperwork for the first time in my life in years.
So, okay, Jesus. But so I just want to hear your thoughts on this. Because I feel like people, I don't know if people would think this, but steroids with the military, like with SEALs, I guess it does change how mental clarity and stuff at levels. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Should that be a thing? Because
man, I mean, the truth is like, I was doing it for I was doing it to look good too. There was just some ego there I fucking wanted. And yes, it's going to increase your performance. I do understand why, because it can be dangerous, right? Yeah. You're technically government property.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you're also introducing substances that are, I understand why they have just, you're not your own entity. So, I do think testosterone replacement therapy has its place under a doctor, and I think they do that in the military with proper testosterone levels and that type of stuff. It absolutely should be allowed. But the steroids and all the extra stuff, you're really not helping yourself out in terms of longevity.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
There's also a lot of risk of things happening.
Yeah.
You know, with putting on that type of muscle, and you don't need to be that big.
Yeah.
Truthfully, you need to be strong, but you don't need to be like super fucking big. It's actually kind of a hindrance.
I'm just thinking more from like the recovery standpoint, because I know all the guys that like in jiu-jitsu, everyone pisses hot because they just don't drug test for some reason. But everyone does it so they can train 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if you guys are out in
That's true. And there is a piece to that, man. You do recover fucking much faster.
Yeah.
And your immune system's boosted up. There's positives. I understand why the government would have, you know, so I don't, people will comment and stuff like, oh, you got fucked. I knew what I was doing, you know, and even when I went in my board, they said, you know, I said, I knew what I was doing, you know, and if you're willing to risk what the fuck it costs, then it is what it was, you know. I wouldn't have ever had been tested if I wouldn't have brought my fucking heat on myself with being a drunk asshole.
Yeah.
So there's that piece too.
So moving forward from there, so you walk out of jail now, you're clear. You're out of the military, you're kind of finished up. It's like, and you got all the permit, everything's like, it's a clean slate.
Yep.
You're good to go. You were working it smart because you knew that you were coming out at that point, which is crazy that you even had the wherewithal to be working that with everything else you had going on. But you started networking some connections. So, you know, right from getting out of jail, you jump into like a pretty big project management gig, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing a construction project management gig on the largest construction residential project in the United States. As like the 2-man on the largest private developer in the United States. It was like, felt like a win.
Yeah.
I'm riding around on a golf cart with my fucking white helmet, you know, learning. And it was, but man, I looking back, one of the regrets I have is not embracing that job correctly. I did, but I was.
How do you mean by that?
I was, I wasn't disciplined.
Okay.
I had other problems too. Like I was like, my life was not in track. I was doing too much Adderall. I was gonna
say, I know that's when this whole.
So like I was having like, you know, financial issues also, right? Because from all the shit and you know, relationship problems that come with that, and my life was in chaos. I would show up late to work, you know, just kind of fucking not as disciplined and locked on. I was having little problems, but when I was there, I was working hard, and I was actually pretty damn good at learning and getting information. And I'm a good communicator, so I was good with passing the inspections with the fucking city inspectors and stuff, and I'm good at that type of stuff. And so I excelled in some areas, and I was just failing. I was getting better as the time went on with the schedule and whatever, and understanding the responsibilities of it. And then a new situation presented itself, a new opportunity in the cannabis industry with a former teen guy. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Right. It felt good. And that's what I went into. And that was a whole nother world that ended up being a good move overall. But I still was, in terms of what I learned there, pitching decks, raising a lot of money. Now I'm in a more professional environment, right? Just the professional development side was massive.
Yeah.
Being in those conversations with guys who are making a lot of money doing stuff, and, you know, hedge fund managers. And that's so it was a different level. And I'm glad, because that opened up that entrepreneurial world and what being my own boss was, because I was pretty much running the whole shit myself. But it ended up crashing and burning. I failed that because, man, I was fucking not right, man. I was stacked fentanyl on top of it every night now too. So I was doing Adderall, Xanax, smoking weed, and drinking, and fucking doing fentanyl all night.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I know you talked about that. What started that? What started that snowball effect?
Some people will be like, man, I started doing opioids because I got hurt. Man, I started doing opioids because I wanted to get high.
Yeah.
Fucking straight up. I was not because I fucking got hurt. I can pinpoint exactly when I fucking asked for it. I had just broken up. One time we were like this in and out relationship. The girl I loved, and we were living together, and like right as I'm transitioning into this fucking next job, it was chaos at this moment in my life. This was April 9th, 2017, when this was happening. 2018, excuse me, April 9th, when this all kind of goes down. Mm-hmm. I called a drug dealer, and I went, hey bro, do you have any fucking Percocets? Because I feel like shit emotionally.
Yeah.
It was emotional pain.
So you did, yeah.
It was emotional pain. I was like, bro, I just want to fucking feel better. I felt like I was going to die. If anybody's had like a really bad breakup, it felt like I was going to die, dude. And I'm like, ugh. Like, it really felt bad. And I just wanted to feel better emotionally. And that's when and then it worked. What do you know? I felt better. with me, I'm very habitual. I'm not like, so I just, it worked. Worked one day. I'm going to fucking do it every fucking day. Now I had a really good connect. So I just fucking, so it's Percocets, not always fentanyl, but then the kind of fentanyl came on the market and I realized how much more powerful it was. So I fucking liked it more, but it was just dangerous too. Cause I fucking was going face down a few times, bro. Like smashing my face open on shit.
Fucking joke.
We had people dying.
Yeah.
Dude, that was no joke. And it was, dangerous time. I was fucking my face up, falling on stuff and shit. But then like getting up and getting sewn up and then going right back into meetings, dude. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
What I was doing looking back. I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? But I didn't even know how to live different, bro. I was just like, oh, this is just what it is. And I'm still being successful. So it's like, maybe this is just how shit is, bro. This is how I get down. Yeah. And fucking, you can't do that for too long though, bro.
Yeah, you see Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street movie and you're like, see it, fucking they do it.
Bro. But look what happened in, right?
Exactly.
You can't. Everybody crashes and burns like that when you're not living right. You're not living in line with universal principles. Yeah. You're fucking stacking karmic debt because you're for sure being an asshole. For sure. Yeah. You're being irresponsible. Fucking, I was emotionally not in control. It was a fucking tumultuous time, man.
So the breakdown happens. I know you mentioned, you at one point you basically overdo it on, was it fentanyl?
Yeah.
Then it just face down on the table.
Yeah, fucking kaplat.
And it's time for you to leave from that job and you end up going to Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
So I guess what was the thought process, or not the thought process, what was the feeling there where you're going from?
Bro, like, surreal. It felt like I had just gotten a huge car accident and then the dust is settling. It felt like, what the fuck just happened? That's what it felt like. It felt like absolutely like just losing everything and being like, what the fuck happened?
Mm-hmm. So why Hawaii?
My boss at the time, he was like, oh, we got some fucking stuff going on out there, business potentially, but also you just got to get the fuck out of here. Like there's just too much. There was a lot of interpersonal things connected with the business and stuff. He's like, get out of here. I was like, all right, I'm out of there. So then that's what I did, man. And I was out there for a few months, just kind of like slowly getting off because I went out there and don't have the connects.
Yeah.
Right. So I just didn't have the stuff, which was actually good. And then with the getting off it was like, whoa. And finally I got off that. Right. But I'm still doing the other shit, trying to like figure out what to do. And then I start researching the Legion. And then I kind of felt good. Right. When I started like, all right, I do have a fucking emergency hatch.
Yeah, somewhere to go.
Yeah, I have an emergency hatch. Okay. I was like, I'll set that here. And then I had a plan. And then fucking, it just come burning in though. Dude, money's running out. Fucking shit's running out. And then I'm like homeless in my truck fucking going, bro, I'm going to fucking kill I was like, I'm going to fucking ice myself.
Can you touch on that story? Because I heard you talk about that.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I was just, had no gas, dropped my fucking buddy off at the airport, realized I had no gas, had no money. I look at my account. I'm like, oh, fuck. This was the first time everything came crashing down. I'm like, bro, I've never been in a position where I had no money, no gas. I was like, oh, this is how it happens.
In a forest in Hawaii.
Yeah, I was like, I went from the airport. I was like, I don't know where to go. Like, what am I going to do, man? Yeah. It's so fucking, because I had been staying at Airbnbs and hotels, but now I couldn't do that. So I drove to where I knew I'd be like left alone so I could think. I was like, I just need to figure out what the fuck. Like maybe I'll get a call. Like things have always worked out, right? I'll get a call, be like, hey man, okay, here's a job. Like that's what I was like, okay, I just need some time. So I parked by where the fucking volcano was erupting, dude. Yeah. Like way on the east side, dude, in the jungle, going straight native, dude. But I knew no one would bother me out there. So I parked my truck like in the jungle and I fucking turned the car off and I sat. I remember the car turning off and I went, holy fuck. I lost everything. I was like, holy fuck. I couldn't lie anymore. I had nothing else to touch. No title, no nothing. I was like, oh shit, I'm alone. I had a fucking sawed off shotgun. And I'm like, now I'm looking at that thing going, fuck dude, I'm tired. I don't want to I'm not climbing another mountain. I was like, I'm fucking so fucking tired, dude. What the fuck? Like, what else am I going to do, man? And then I was like, well, maybe I'll get the call. That was kind of like keeping me in the game. But I was seriously, man, now I'm just like, well, maybe I could jump off that cliff. Maybe I'm in that process. Not sad, dude. It was so matter of fact.
It's just done.
Yeah, it was just toast, dude. And that's what was scary about it. Is it was so matter of fact. I would like to go for walks in the jungle and just sit like absolute quiet. You know, you can't listen to music. If anybody's ever been to, you can't even deal in no emotional bandwidth. But then I had a good moment of clarity, thank God, where I was just kind of shown how selfish I was being, talking about myself, being like whining and complaining. And I'm like, man, dude, I'm fucking healthy. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to join the French Foreign Legion. Fuck this, right? Let's just do this.
So in that situation, how close were you to it? And then I guess,
dude, I was close,
how hard
man.
did it stop you?
I was close. The only thing that was stopping me was I'm like, man, how my mom and sister going to feel?
Yeah.
That's what it was. I'm like, and it was like the body. I'm like, man, who's going to find this? Like, and then who's like, that's what, thank God, because people without family, I can't imagine like what's the backstop.
Yeah, at that point.
Right? What's the backstop? And so that's why I say, man, if anybody's ever fucking in that situation, reach out to somebody who's been into it and be like, at least say something, right? Because even vocalizing it helps because it takes you out of yourself for a minute, right? And remember, times of compression pass. Just like those happy times pass, so's the bad times, right? Just weather the storm. And that's what I did, man. And then I fucking just started making a plan to get to France, bro.
So this is actually a question I wanted to ask with this situation too, which I was kind of hinting at towards earlier. But what's your relationship with God? Or like the idea of... like,
I have a very direct connection with God. Mm-hmm. I have always understood the guiding of a guiding force and the orchestrating nature of things, right? There's universal principles. Talk about speaking in numbers and all these things, man. None of that shit's fucking coincidence, man. And that higher consciousness that speaks to you, that's God. I don't care what you want to call it, man. And you could deny it if you want. This shit's real. This shit's fucking real, man. And don't get too caught up in the formal religions, right? Don't get too caught up. And I mean, don't let it push you away, right? Let that connection come to you naturally. That's what I would always say to people. And that's why, I don't beat a drum. You find out whatever you want, man. But I know what's real for me. And I know what the fucking scoop is.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you believe in that? Or did you feel like that in that moment as well?
Yeah. And even in that moment, I knew it was real.
Yeah.
I never have been like, well, I know there's no God.
Yeah.
That I never have been in that position. Even in all my fucking shit, I've always been like, well, fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it through this one.
Yeah.
It's been like more of that kind of dialogue. And I'm glad for that because it keeps, you need to have a greater understanding outside of self.
Yeah.
People, I can deal with an agnostic because at least an agnostic's reasonable. I'm not sure. Atheist is about as arrogant as a motherfucker could be.
Yes, I love that.
It is the most arrogant fucking viewpoint. You're saying in your fucking pea brain, and I have a pea brain too, that in all of the universal knowledge is you draw a pie graph of how much you know. It's like you couldn't even draw a dot.
No.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
For all the information that is.
Yeah.
You're saying in all that stuff you don't know, there's not some concept or like, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever met anybody so sure than someone that's atheist.
Oh, and I know they're an idiot because they're so, they think they're so intellectual. They've thought themselves back to dumb.
Yeah. That's a really good way to put that.
They've thought themselves into a fucking circle. Right. And then, man, your little literature you've ever read and your little, bro, there are cosmic principles there are elements we don't even know. There's elements on our elemental table that are blank that we know exist that we fucking don't even know are there.
Yeah.
It's fucking, bro, people need to fucking chill the fuck out and just feel, right? You don't need to this isn't something you think, right? You feel it. And like, I don't know, it's like fucking some romantic movie, but it's like kind of a cliche, weird thing to say, but it's such he goes, do you love, your mom? And someone's like, yeah, well, prove it. What the fuck? It's like such a great way to say, it's like, what the fuck is love, man? It's like there's cosmic things, dust around us. And if you're trying to conceptualize an omnipotent being, you're already doing it wrong because you can't fucking fathom on dimensional plane. It's so outside of our scope of understanding.
Yeah.
that if you're picturing a guy in the clouds, you're fucking an idiot, right? It is so amorphic that you just have to fucking sit back and open your heart up and start understanding the signs and reading and feeling. And that's when you're going to get connected, right? And then start living aligned, and then you're going to start opening up. An atheist also does not live aligned.
Nope. Yeah.
There, any true atheist, I go, show me your fucking day. Guaranteed it's dog shit.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed it's dog shit. It's not full. It's so, and I'll debate any atheist on that, man. I'll be like, hey, show me your day. It's like, guarantee your fucking day's shit, right? Are you happy? Right? A lot of times they're not. I'm like, well, I am.
Yeah,
fucking so man, I definitely don't want what you're doing.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible, man. Yeah, no, that's
a good question, bro.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm right there with you too, and I think it's something that's building in the culture too. But it's just, people need to be.
People don't want to talk about. They don't want to say that word, man. It puts them off because, well, let's be quite honest. Organized religion has muddled the waters, and we can go into a whole line of dialogue we could always talk about. But it's information if you're an omnipotent being, you would have to. Every culture is going to drink the information different.
Yep.
Right. So you have to understand that piece of it too. But you can also, there are ways, people that are just kind of already understand. They're not believers, they're knowers. A knower doesn't need certain text to tell them what's up. They know what the fuck's up. Yeah. That's the difference.
Yeah. Damn, man. There's not much. Damn.
Yep.
Well, so moving forward from there, we're going to France, which, like you said, this is kind of, you found a pipeline and you're like, damn, this is the moment. This is something that, an opportunity. You hop right on a plane, and when you were telling this story, I think this is one of the things. This is why I wanted to bring up the quote earlier. You say you get off the plane in France and it's raining.
Raining, dude.
Yeah,
look at that chill again, bro. Raining, man. Pouring. I just touched down from Hawaii, bro. It's like freezing rain, and I went, oh man, and I go fuck, and and it was interesting because the dates, right? Because now it's the week of October 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th.
Really?
Right. So it was during that same time where I had that fucking, that realization of that same shit fucking years before.
Yeah.
15 years before. About.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
So you walk up to the gate of the French Legion.
So I took a few days to kind of get the system clean.
Yeah,
stayed in a hostel. Then I just, was cold turkey on everything, just running and then getting my mind right. And then on a Sunday, October 13th, it was the Hunter's full moon. So it was this big red, massive moon. It was raining as I was going in, man, at night.
Shit.
Yep.
So it's crazy. So the French Legion, you just walk up to the front door and just
fucking knock on the gate, man.
Seriously.
Yep. No, don't call ahead. Don't nothing. There's no application. You show up with a bag, your passport.
Damn. How did that feel coming from, SEALs, which is so regimented and so to even be considered, recruit, everything. Like, what did that feel like? Was it just like
mystery?
Yeah.
Right. It was like, the fuck am I walking into? Because I read a lot of books. I mean, I knew guys were dying in Algeria, getting buried up to the neck in sand, like hardcore.
Yeah.
I knew it was. So there was a little bit of fear, a little bit of excitement too. All right. Being deliberate about your life again, picking the fucking pen up, going, man, fuck this. Let's do this. I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's write an interesting story. I knew it was going to be fucking hard, scary, kind of shitty. I knew it was going to be shitty. But I was committed, man. I knew I needed to.
What can you maybe explain what the French Legionnaire? We kind of just skipped over that for viewers that might not understand. Like what is it actually, and like kind of the extent it's.
Yeah, it's a unit in the French military that is comprised of almost all only foreigners. It's about 200 years old, almost. Started by an old king to get foreigners who were kind of causing some trouble in his kingdom, in the kingdom of France, right? Back onto the battlefield. And the carrot was kind of like the old Roman legions. If you served your time, you get French citizenship.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I feel like and also too, you highlight this countless times, like it's such a diverse group of people and none of them speak fucking French. So they're coming in.
Man, it's a weird getting in and military orders in French and nobody knows the fucking language. Yeah. So it is. And French is hard.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard for Americans. Our accent's dog shit. We butcher French, bro, because we don't got the that sound down in it. It was difficult, and it's a tough culture. Right? It's a tough culture from guys that are poor countries. So that makes it tough.
So you walk in, I know you had to do the pull-up test, and then they give you like some basic IQ tests and everything like that. Over the next couple of weeks, you're surrounded by, individuals from all around the world. Like what was that feeling where you're coming from SEALs? We talked about this from the very beginning. Like these are D1 athletes, wrestlers, this, that, all-American, top of the food chain type guys. And not saying that they're not, the guys coming in. I mean, it's definitely probably a mix and match, but it's such a different individual. What was the feeling there?
I was like, okay, this is going to be probably a step down with a lot of the guys we're dealing with in the training. But I knew it actually was going to provide me exactly what I needed, which was time and some regimentation, right? And just an interesting just lane that I didn't know anything about. That was like an interesting. And so the guys I was around, because you still got some pipe hitters, right? You still got some pretty tough fucking guys coming out of Belarus and, tough places. And so you have some solid athletes and you have some pro athletes, pro boxers and fucking those type of dudes too, right? Coming from all over. So there's a mixed bag.
Why do they end up there? Like what?
Man, you got to remember, a lot of these countries, their militaries make like $300 a month.
Really?
Oh yeah. And so they make $300 a month in their fucking military, or they like quadruple their pay, and
jump to Legion.
Yeah. And a lot of these countries don't do OPEX missions out. They don't do external missions, man.
Really?
Yeah, man. We forget that a lot of countries don't do operations.
True, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was something that I didn't really think about.
Yeah.
They're like, all these countries, where's Romania operating?
Yeah.
Right?
Nowhere.
Right? Where's Mongolia operating? Wait, Mongolia might do some stuff, but still, seriously, just not a lot of places.
Yeah.
Belarus? Where? Right? Now it's a little different with Ukraine, but before, nowhere, dude. Belarus isn't in Afghanistan, right? So those guys that want to who have that warrior spirit, they go where the only place they can to go fight.
So what level of experiences were there for, like, were you like really above a lot of the guys with their guys? So you were.
Yeah. And there were some guys who had, been special police and things, but like just my weapons handling and weapons manipulation, just because of the funding.
Yeah.
How much more ammo I shot. And weapons manipulation and tactical experience. Nobody's like the ability to clear a house is like nobody could touch me. Right.
Can you go there without any previous experience? So you can just show up.
Yeah. Some guys just show up with no military experience, younger guys, but they want guys who are a little older to have some. They usually don't want to take older guys with no experience. Like, what the fuck have you been doing? Yeah. Right. But they'll take a guy mid-20s with no experience.
Will they toss him like right out? Like, would he be on an operation with you, or would that guy have like a learning curve?
No, you'll have a workup. You'll have a workup and stuff.
So what was that process like going from? Because I know there's like a whole you had to go through kind of checks and balances to be able to even see if you're going to be able to get in the Legion. Then you got to go through the whole training regimen. And so what was that process like? Like what went through there?
A lot of interviews, a lot of background checks. Why are you here? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Right? That's the Legion selection, psychological evaluations. Then we go to your boot camp. Once you get selected, it's like 1 out of 15 guys about. And that's normal boot camp, right? But you go to a place called the Farm, which is a farm. And it was very unique because only in the Legion, you're like on a farm.
Yeah.
You're not like in a formal like you're on a fucking farm, sleeping on a cot, like freezing your nuts off. Doing okay. That was a tough time for me because I'm like, fuck, dude. Just
end up here?
I would look at the planes, like planes flying out, and I go, where are those people going? Like, I would think that, dude.
They're going back to Hawaii.
I thought that multiple times, bro. I'm like, fuck, I can't wait to be on a plane. And it was surreal when I got on a plane back, dude. That was a wheel because I remember thinking that, this is going to be a long road because it was emotional sorrow, physical pain, all these things mixed of feeling isolated, like what the fuck, man, I'm in like shitty just shitty uniforms. Like, man, the funding's shit, and you're in a boot camp. It's supposed to suck, and you're running. I'm fucking freezing my nuts. I'm like, what, the 34?
Probably with a bunch of idiots too.
So with a bunch of knuckleheads. You got some good dudes, but few and far between, right? And it just was kind of a like elementary school compared to where I'd come, right?
Would they lean on you a lot for like?
I was kind of staying on my own fucking cruise, right? I was like kind of just being quiet, letting the fucking bullshit. I didn't drink the Kool-Aid, right? I had been to the puppet show, seeing all the strings, so they're like yelling at people. There was no like flustering me. Yeah, so the fucking instructors were like, kind of hated me for a little bit, but then they're like, this guy doesn't give a fuck. Like,
so I know you were saying the interview process too. They really hammered you because you were a SEAL showing up to the front.
Yeah, they really wanted no problem with the United States government. They really wanted to get the bottom why the fuck I was there.
Yeah.
And once they realized it was true, I was just fucked up my life up. Yeah. They were like, okay.
Had there ever been a SEAL there before? Or
I've heard rumors that there was an old Vietnam Master Chief. Mm-hmm. So I might not be, but definitely not anytime recent. And I don't know if that's confirmed, but I had heard that. So, but as of right now, I'm the only fucking one.
Is there any other Americans that you come and see there? Like
Marines. Okay. I ran into a MARSOC guy who had a couple buddies, Marines and stuff like that, but not a lot.
Yeah, not a ton of dudes.
No, like handful.
So I guess, so once you like confirmed and in and stuff, I'm saying it's interesting because obviously you have a lot of inside knowledge and stuff. I mean, French and the U.S. were pretty close allies, and like there's definitely some overlay of information. Yep. But were they ever pestering for like for you to like?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know what? I didn't really get pestered for that stuff because, and I'll tell you what, the beauty of the Legion is they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
they're like this, dude. Right? They probably could have like had me teach stuff, but I wasn't. They weren't asking me for it. They're like, hey, they're a very shut the fuck up. They don't care do what you're fucking told. Like, don't think.
So you talk about once you guys finally get assigned and everything, like you're in the Legion, they give you guys a brand new identity.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with that?
It's just that's what they've been doing since the beginning of time. I don't know why it started like that, but you show up and you pass those initial IQ tests. You get a piece of paper with a fucking like a sticky note, dude. Straight up. The simplicity of it makes it so surreal.
It's kind of beautiful.
It's just like, here you go. They go, this is you. And it just said Trent Clayson, born on September 11th, 1985. That's dead serious, in New York City. That was my fucking birthday.
Why the fuck did they pick that? That's crazy.
No. Dude, this is the fucking crazy shit of it. That wasn't just given me to be a fucking asshole or like some weird thing. In the computer systems, they take your date of birth, your day of birth, and they add a month and a day. I was born on August 10th. So that puts me at September 11th, and they made my and it was just by chance in the computer, my birth city was New York City. Isn't that weird? Incredible. So I saw September 11th was my birthday, New York City, Trent Clayson.
Jesus Christ, that's a good name.
Yeah, so I took it as a good omen. Yeah, I did. I took it as a good. I was like, interesting. I took it as a good omen.
So do they all? So everyone that you're around at that point too, can you guys only use that new identity?
Well, it wasn't that you couldn't. It's dude, that's all you know each other by after because you just are calling each other that. It's on your fucking name tapes, and that's who I was for fucking 2 years. Nobody called me a different name.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so, dude. Yeah. And you just are that guy, bro. I have a French passport picture with a fake name and a fake social security number on it with my picture and all that shit.
Yeah, you guys, so they give you a social, right? If you want to come
out. They give you a social and all that stuff on their fake name. Christ. You could stay with that name for the rest of your life and become a French citizen.
Really? Mm-hmm. Do a lot of guys do that?
Not a lot.
Not a lot?
No, because obviously you'd have to give up a lot of old shit and getting French citizenship's harder, but you can do it.
Do guys that usually do it usually have a pass that they...
Yeah,
they need to get away from.
They usually don't take guys that are that bad. Like they're pretty strict about stuff. Like you can't have sex crimes or any bullshit like that. But if guys just want to fucking restart, man, they can. It's hard.
Some crazy fucking individuals, I'm guessing then.
Yeah, you got guys coming in there with fucking faces blasted, head tattoos, and fucking coming out of like the gulag, bro. You got some hardcore fucking guys, dude.
That's nuts.
Yeah, you see, it's a pretty crazy thing when you see a guy in like a full uniform, like a beret with like face blasted. You're like, whoa, dude, because you don't see that anywhere else in the fucking world, bro.
No, not military, no.
Yeah, dude, you seeing a guy with your full horn head tattooed and face and stuff and in a fucking Marine, in a uniform is pretty heavy.
So
it looks cool as fuck.
Oh, yeah, no. It looks like Call of Duty custom.
Yeah, it looks cool as fuck.
So do you still, like, if someone came up and said that name, that, like, I don't know, random person, hear like the first name, are you gonna turn like?
Oh yeah, because I'd be like, who the fuck's calling me by my Legion name?
Yeah. It's like drilled in your brain at that point.
Yep.
Man, that's crazy. So what? Next couple months there, you know, I know you get assigned to that mountain regiment. You're kind of all over the world. Then.
Yeah.
Like you guys are moving around. What are some of the key differences you'd say for being in the SEALs, going all around the world versus Legion?
Lifestyle is completely different. So your autonomy is zero. You are in a fucking SEALs, you're kind of growing around in fucking civilian clothes. I mean, dude, you're in the Legion, you're there as a group in your fucking uniform. You're not having freedom of movement. You're not going out in town fucking hanging out, dude. That's just not how it's going down. It's very strict, and you're there fucking organized, and it's disciplined as fuck.
How close would you get with the other guys on the team too? I mean, the language barrier.
Yeah, the language barrier is hard, but you do have guys that speak English.
Okay.
Right? And so you click with those guys better, obviously. It's really hard to express yourself in a different language and connect. But I would still connect with guys from Belarus, places like that. Like, dude, because the mentality is similar.
Yeah.
Like guys from Brazil and stuff, like Spain. I really got along with most guys, really.
Yeah. My coach actually at my martial arts gym just got back from Ukraine. He was part of Brazilian Special Forces.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they went over there.
Yep.
But so culturally, again, like the U.S. is just so professional. Everything we do is like, you know, bang, bang. A lot of militaries around the world, you know, they kind of got a little bit of differences. Like, was there some splitting hairs there? Like some?
No, it's definitely different. I mean, definitely for SEALs, like our training and stuff's regimented way more professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Legion, it's like not as organized and not as they don't do. And the ownership piece is less, surprisingly enough. I noticed like they don't do the debriefs hardcore. Maybe at the French Special Forces, they might. Yeah. Right. So my obviously and also like to always make it clear, people are like, you can't compare the two because it's not special. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But we're comparing them because I've done both, right? Yeah. And so fucking people are morons, bro. Well, the difference is it's an infantry unit, right? And special force unit. The mentality is different. The philosophy is different. So the trainings, so the debriefs, I understand, but there's less importance placed on, hey, where did you fuck up? Right? Yeah. And mistakes are kind of just not talked about, right? The ownership, the lessons learned aren't disseminated from the French officers down because there's also that whole piece. French officers, foreigners who are fucking shitbags, right? In their country, right? There's that piece too, who aren't even French citizens.
Is there a pipeline to get to special forces from Legionnaire? Or is it kind of, it always
you technically could. It'd be hard as fuck and you'd have to start young and you'd need to get French citizenship. And you could though. You'd finish your contract with the Legion, get your French citizenship, cross deck and go into the military. People have done it.
So I want to keep diving into this, but honestly, I want to save it for part 2 next time.
Yeah, let's do part 2.
That'll be a good way to get that together. But let's dive a little bit into what you're doing now. So obviously, you started up the YouTube, going into social media, and like I said, everyone needs to check it fucking out because the way you approach it, again, you're one of the few influencers, which I can call you that now.
Fuck, dude, man, isn't that crazy, right? Fuck, dude, never thought that would come.
Influencers that are out there now that, like I said. And don't get me wrong, it's a great message that comes from a lot of these guys that, you know, accountability, but you also align it with a lot of those elements, which is why I wanted to ask you that question of like the level of spiritual awakening, the level of like, there's a mental power that people can have that when you're introspective, when
tapped
you're
in,
paying attention to the world around you. So I guess what inspired you to start that and where do you see it going from here?
In that cold barracks room, when I realized I had nowhere else to go for external validation, it was like a moment. I get chills thinking about it, man. I was like, holy fuck. I'm still missing a piece and there's nowhere else to go. I have no other title. Where the fuck am I going to go? Right? There's no other institution to fix me, right? To fix me. So I went, well, I got to fucking start diving into like, what are these old Greek philosophers talking about? What's Seneca talking about? What's Marcus Aurelius talking about? Right? What's Nero talking about? Right? What's Musashi talking about? Right? I started kind of diving. I wasn't reading every word, you know, but I was getting their quotes, understanding what they were coming from. Like, started applying the principles more importantly. Oh, fucking wake up. Okay. I always know, reflect back. When was times I was happiest in my life? Oh, when I was more fucking disciplined, waking up early. Okay. And then I started doing it. Then I started doing it more and more. And then I was in the hospital. I had some time and I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking start doing this thing. And I started with 500 push-ups every morning. That's where I started. And then I just started getting up earlier, And then I fucking really started to not miss. Really started to track my macros. Really just started to tighten that bearing. And I started to open up and become more aligned and so more open, right? And it started to just be more receptive to things. And that's when I started to I always knew kind of God was a guiding force. That's when I started being like, hey man, you see how much better you are right now?
Yeah.
Watch, no bad days. Look, no bad days for a fucking long time. I was like, oh fuck, wow. Then I just started really systemizing it. What am I doing? How do I hydrate? How do I fucking do it, right? And just really started ratcheting it down where I'm not structuring my day every 5 minutes. Just people like that probably would be better, but I don't do that because there is some point of fluidity you must understand, right? And that's when I really started to just be like, try to put out the energy I wanted back, right? Stop being so fucking angry, right? Stop being so resistant to people. Try opening up, not hug and kiss every fucking baby. I'm not talking, not that, but being receptive, talking to people and being present, and really putting that energy into them, right? Every single person I come across. And man, I started to really fucking get some stuff back and really started to get good positive feedback to myself. And I started to feel better. My self-worth started to build and I started to hold myself to a higher standard. Most importantly, I started saying fucking no to myself. I realized how much I said yes to whatever the fuck I wanted. Anything, right? And might be like, oh, I kind of want to go out and fucking drink and slam shot. Like I still have these destructive feelings. Like even last night here, right? I still deal with it, man. I'm like, man, I can go, nah, man, why are you fucking gonna, why would you do that? Right? And I have to, before I would have totally fucking gone, right? Yeah. But instead, I'm like, dude, you got to get up early. Dude, I have shit to do. And then it was resetting. Man, that's that purpose, right? Because you have to have a reason to not just say no.
Yeah.
People say it's about success. Success is subtractive. But once you subtract, you can't leave that void. You have to fill it with something, right? Something positive. And so that's when I started putting it into my work, putting it into that purpose, that project, whatever the fuck, subtracting the bad, and taking the things away that always end up causing me fucking shame and regret. Once I stopped doing things that I fucking regret, wow, bro, everything. Just do that one piece. If people do fucking anything, stop doing things you regret. How do you know what you regret? Wake up every morning and reflect back on the day before. What did you kind of aren't proud of that you did? Don't do that again. Don't do it just one day. Just don't do that anymore, right? Pick one thing. Fucking just keep picking one thing. Fucking next thing you know, dude, your day is looking pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, the last question I was going to wrap up with there was if you could take one lesson away to share with somebody, but I think that regret hammers home because it's literally, I saw a really interesting quote from, do you know BoJack Horseman?
No.
It's one of those PG Cartoon Network type shows that's super deep and has no business being as deep as it is for some reason. But there's this quote where he goes, it's hard. And it gets harder every day, but he's like, the hardest part is doing it every day. And he goes, and eventually it gets easier.
Yeah.
Everyone always thinks they're like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done, like whatever it might be. Because they look at the long term, but they don't realize it's like if you do it every day, those small little challenges, it's the hardest every day. And that's the hardest part is having that kind of discipline to continue. Yes. Eventually it gets easier. Eventually you get to where you want to be. You know what I mean? So I honestly don't think there's any better way to wrap it up. That's why I wanted to ask there. And I think that lesson's perfect. And brother, like I said, you're inspiring as fuck. I love seeing what you're doing. I only know it's going to continue to go up. If you want to give a quick shout out, let people know where to find everything. But it was fun, brother. And like I said,
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah. We're about that perfect day practice. Every day we practice it, right? So you're never going to fucking nail it. You're never going to get it perfect, but that's the beauty of it. We keep practicing that perfect fucking day. And anybody can always get me on my website, taylorcavanaugh.com. There's a contact page there. You can kind of get a better feel for the story and reach out to me direct. TCav Official on my Instagram. I'm Johnny on the spot with those DMs. I try to get back to you as fast as I can. You DM me, you get me directly. Same with the email, same with the website. Everything comes to me direct. I don't use a team. I don't use setters or sellers or nothing that. Everybody, if you're communicating with me. And also on my long form content, TCAV TV on my YouTube, where we kind of dive into these deeper principles, and drop a comment, drop a whatever you want. But I try to get through as many of those as I can.
Oh yeah, brother. Yeah, that'll all be linked below. And like I said, man, it was a good one. Can't wait for part 2.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro.
I hope you guys did enjoy that episode with Taylor. His story is insane, and I hope you guys got a lot of great takeaways from him. If you want to check out any of the links, make sure to check out below. Or if you're interested in looking at some of our other episodes, make sure to check out the links right here. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode.